Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures trying to get back into positive territory once again this morning as we look to bounce back after slight declines to kick off the new week and the new month. Yesterday, all three U.S. indexes in negative territory at the end of the day yesterday. We'll see what happens here. This morning, we're looking at the 10-year Treasury as well. Markets still concerned about overall growth in the economy and the bounce back in some of the economies that are still reopening. The 10-year fell back to a 5-month low on Monday, but is rebounding significantly once again today. We're also monitoring progress, or any progress to be made coming out of Washington in relationship to the $550 billion infrastructure deal. We'll let you know if anything comes from that. We're watching video game maker stocks. This morning we have earnings from Take-Two Interactive, but more significantly, it seems China commenting on video game makers and the possibility of more sanctions or more regulatory changes around some of those stocks. So we'll talk about Take-Two and EA as well under pressure. Mall operator Simon Property Group, the other big name with earnings, decent report for them. It's Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Yeah, still in positive territory, but we are heading back to the downside here as far as the futures are concerned. The S&P still 0.18, the Dow there 0.27. The NASDAQ basically flat at this point once again. TSX futures 0.38 to the upside at this point. The TSX reopened again today after a holiday Monday here in Toronto yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum back under pressure as well. 4% to the downside yesterday. We saw Ethereum leading the way Monday to the upside when Bitcoin was back in the red. Guys, good morning. Decent morning to start things off today. We have a number of earnings names to get to. Clorox under pressure here in the pre-market after, I guess, demand for disinfectant has kind of dwindled a little bit as COVID dwindles as well, or we're hoping it's starting to move away. But overall, some individual names definitely to look at today.
100%. Welcome. It's Tuesday. Our coffee machine isn't working. And Clorox, I mean, yeah, to say under pressure, for Clorox down 11%, that's a big move. I mean, I'm assuming it's still there. We were just talking before this. Robinhood is free for us to short today, which usually with an IPO, you get like, you're paying like 5 or 6. We're usually paying about 5 or 6 cents for the first few days there, and maybe it's free like in a week or two. But already we have free locates, and we're right back at that 38 level, slightly up on the day here. So looks like there's going to be quite a lot to trade. Anyone that's if you see a chart of TBIO, Sanofi is buying them for $38 in cash. I want to say it's not going to move, but I actually can't say that about this one because TBIO has a bit of a short interest. So if you see me in and out of that, I've already made like 46 executions on it. It's just kind of that spread trading idea, so nothing to see there. But if it does move because of that short interest, I'm kind of trying to favor the long side. Should be an interesting one here today. We get some ride-sharing earnings today and tomorrow after market. Lyft and Uber. Should have gone into Lyft, like Mark said.
Yo, just putting out a poll here about buying some Chinese names. We are short this WHLM, BABA out today. This is going to be good. Yeah, let's zip the water here. Zip the water, Shaquille, or sip the water? There it is. It's here. The water's in the building. Yeah, look, it's going to be a good day today. I've wrote down the sticky notes out already. It's going to be a good one. Facebook, AMD on the watch. We have Alibaba on the watch as well. And we'll pay attention to some of these video game makers, as you mentioned there, Brendan, with China once again coming out with some more, I don't know, rhetoric. I don't know what to call it anymore, but their opinion on video games and how they're kind of like poison and stuff like that. So we'll wait to see how it goes. Robinhood also approaching IPO levels of 38. Neil talked about that being not having to pay for short. So hopefully that's true for you now on the third day or fourth day out right now. So it should be easier to get the Boros. So if you're going to go short Robinhood, grab your shares ASAP. I'm actually looking long.
Yeah, spiritual opium was the description of video games that Chinese regulators and media put on video games in general, and then the makers obviously under pressure. It's worth mentioning software makers, video game software makers over in Europe, under significant pressure so far today. So we'll see what happens at the open here. Before we go any further, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Hi guys, happy trading to you all. I wish you a profitable, positive day. Please don't forget to like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. We had a couple of earnings reports this morning. We'll talk about these software makers or video game makers, as we said. But we'll start things off here. Take-Two down 4.3%. I mean, it was nothing but negativity right from the word go. Aftermarket yesterday, I mean, it broke these support levels from yesterday throughout the session, but we're coming into some decent levels here. I mean, overall, it was the forecast that was a little bit light for Take-Two, but I mean, there's also these additional concerns, obviously, if China starts regulating video games as well. Tencent, I saw, also under pressure on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the first time that there's been, I guess, harsh language when it comes to regulating video games. And I think a few weeks ago we talked about this, the rumors that they could put on controls to ensure that you're not playing past a certain time in some of these games in China. So this is not the first leg. As you said, Brendan, like Take-Two, they reported they're already under pressure anyways. I'm going to be looking at NTES as well, another player that's affected by this news. And if you get down to like this 160 level, you could find a little bit of support. But I wrote down 167.50 fade, and then I said to myself, only one short, and then that was going to be, look, it gives back to these levels from the aftermarket when it's trying to pull back in here. Kind of ignore these wicks. Every single one of these dark wicks, that's just coming off at the right at the close price, right? So those late prints coming through. Really, when it tried to pull back aftermarket, it got to about 167.40. So I'm looking 167.50 on a fade. It doesn't do a lot of volume pre-market, so I'd need to see it come in off the open before I would take any actionable trade there, guys. But TTWO Take-Two. I'll stay away from trying the longs for today. I think there's probably going to be value in gaming if this extends any further. 160 is obviously pretty good support, as you pointed out there, Brendan, on the daily chart.
Activision Blizzard had some more problems than just this. Of course, we've talked about that with some rights issues and things like that. So they're going to continue to get hammered. And even today, ATVI continues to go to the downside. And I mean, spiritual opium. I don't know, that might make people try to play video games even more. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily a negative thing. But yeah, look, I mean, Kramer said basically that investing in Chinese stocks right now is extremely, irresponsible and things like that. Well, we're going to get to Alibaba and a few of those names. But I mean, I'm just going to go over to EDU, TAL, things like that, just so you guys can see like the kind of damage that can be done when you don't have. No, that's the split, so let's not look at that. Hold on a second. Maybe I should look at TAL a little bit better. There it is. Let's just look at this. When you don't have the Chinese government on your side and, some negative rhetoric and things like that start coming through, in one day, you could be in trouble with this. All of a sudden, they're changing their education, from profit to not for profit all of a sudden. And so, if they have the ability to do that kind of stuff, then really, I mean, it's very, very hard to support anything right now that's Chinese. I'm going to talk more about that when we do have Alibaba up in a couple minutes. And then on that note, let's get a little interactive with you guys here. I just put this out. Well, maybe we can put this in our chat. I'll do it. I'll copy and paste it, put it in the chat. If you can, and if you're on Twitter right now, why not have this vote? There it is. So are you investing in any Chinese equities at these levels, right? So I just said no. That's an easy one. Yes, small and nibbling, which I'm starting to add to some of my positions. I talked about that buying Bob at 183. And then yes, a bigger position right now. And that would just mean that you think, hey, maybe this is the bottom. You are going to put in a decent amount of capital into these levels. So it's no, yes, or yes at these levels. So I'm not sure where you guys are right now with that, but already a nice amount of votes, 107 votes. You guys can do this. We'll check back in about a half hour and see where we're at. But now that I throw it back to Brendan, where would you be here, Brendan? And then after that, maybe when we come back to Neil, are you buying Chinese names? No, yes, small, or yes, bigger position? Maybe I should put hell no. Maybe it should have been number 4. But Brendan, you have
took the words right out of my mouth.
All
I
right.
think hell no is a good position to be in at this point. And the other side of this story, guys, is how far is this going to spread? Because we were sitting here last week talking about those education companies. We were talking about JD.com, Alibaba, Baidu even. not even thinking about video game makers at that point, but here we are today with video game makers under pressure. Let's talk about Eli Lilly a little bit here, because another name that had earnings here in the pre-market. Wanted to point out one number specifically, and that was their sales for their therapeutic, their COVID-19 therapeutic, which were pretty bad. 148.9 million versus 810 million in the prior quarter. So that's a significant drop, obviously, quarter over quarter for that drug right now. The good news for LLY is not a heck of a lot of participation or apparent interest, guys. This one's been strong over the past couple of months.
Look, it's been very strong, right up to that 250 level. Look, I'm not saying hell no. I mean, come on, I think that's unrealistic. I've said it many times, and just from a valuation standpoint, from a value standpoint, like Alibaba looks pretty good. And it's just, it's hard to, I wanted to wait for earnings because you know after what happened to Amazon, Alibaba was likely to miss some revenue, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But at some point, there's going to be a value you want to stick in for like 5 or 10 years, and that's just the reality. Eli Lilly has been just incredibly strong into that 250 range. So, I mean, it's going to get that slight dip back as we get sitting here like 2.5%. And we talk about price perfection. There were some disappointing numbers there for them across the board. I don't think there's much of a day trade here, but this is probably the kind of name that we can look at on some strength here because, on some relative weakness. I think if it pulls back into about like 220 or so, that's going to be a buying point. That's a harsh pullback. If you're not already in it, maybe you want to dip higher than that. But I want to be catching a bit of a pullback on this before I would get into it. Let it settle down for a couple of days here. I mean, the market is teetering. We're waiting on that jobs report, of course, that comes at the end of the week, and then you have earnings coming through. So you want to be ready to pay attention and to capitalize on some downward movement. But this is not a huge move. I mean, after seeing what Clorox did this morning, like that's the one that I think is if that actually follows through. I mean, at some point, it's not a bad company. There might be like a snapback trade in that. For down 11% though, I'd be hands off it today though.
My favorite name in this space is AbbVie. We've talked about that a couple times. Monster dividend of 4.5%. Not only do you get a crazy dividend, but you get crazy growth on this one as well. I was buying hand over fist in the pandemic. This is one of the names and we're actually going to get to Simon Property Group soon. That was another name that we were buying hand over fist here. I mean, look at this drop from 98 down to 64, 65. It was paying like an 8% dividend down here, which was absolutely nuts. They've also bought and closed with Allergan, and everybody knows about Allergan. Get out those needles, inject your face with some Botox. So again, with the world opening back up again, I think that's going to just keep getting bigger and bigger. So for me, AbbVie, not only, I mean, just compared to the Eli Lilly chart, you can see, not only does this have ridiculous growth, like if you just bought this thing a year ago, you're at $93. It's up to $120 today, which is good. That's about 25, 30% return right there. Plus you get the 4.5%, 5% dividend, which was a lot bigger down here. So get ready to rock and roll. I like AbbVie. I don't think there's anything happening today. It's only 888 shares, but for a long-term portfolio, man, I really, really love AbbVie. I love Bristol Myers, Eli Lilly, another one. And then yesterday we talked about what Pfizer was up to, and I just, there's been no pullback in this one. So when this will load, you'll be able to see. Just look at Pfizer just taking off absolutely ridiculous to the upside right here. Congratulations, anybody that played some of these vaccine names. You basically won on all of them. Moderna's all-time highs, Pfizer right here. This may be, I don't think this is going to be all-time highs, but this is definitely recent highs here on Pfizer. And then J&J's been doing pretty good to the upside as well. So lots of stuff happening by BioNTech, obviously with Pfizer growing as well. So yeah, the vaccine plays have been really, really sweet. So I think you got to try to get yourself into some Pfizer, Moderna on any pullbacks as well as AbbVie. So those are my kind of plays right now in the health space.
Looks like a couple year highs anyways. November of 18 was the last time Pfizer was where it is right now in the pre-market. And then you got to go back to 2000, guys. We were up at 46.67 was the high, and then 47.45 looks like all-time highs. One that came to market end of the year last year, I believe it was. I remember we were sitting here when this IPO came to market, guys. Zoom Info, another one with earnings aftermarket yesterday. IT services company, nice report, beat top and bottom line, even increased their full year forecast. So we're at recent highs for this one above that 60-30 area, up at 62 this morning for ZI.
Oh, load. Yeah, this is another lower volume one here, but one of the things I like to see on a breakout, And let's load up. Come on. One thing you like to see on a breakout, because you're breaking through this 60 level, is a continuation aftermarket, right? So you see that aftermarket move, and then you get a continuation in the next day. So you go right into that resistance, which was the break point, that 60, and then you open above it, and that's showing a lot of. And the thing that it gives you is like, okay, if it breaks back below 60, that's kind of your stop. You can dip by at 60, something along those lines. It's a decent setup there that I like. I mean, this worked fantastically when we talked about Pepsi. The difference is Pepsi, a little bit more active volume certainly at the open. We'll see what happens on Zoom Info, but if it comes back into that 60 level, I think you do like a quick little dip buy just on momentum. Just make sure there's some volume behind it, but a good little number for them and a good push. That setup was really, really good on Pepsi, but you had to have the order out at 9:30 to be able to catch it. So it's not at the top of my list for things to do because at that day I really, really liked Pepsi and there weren't a heck of a lot of other things to look at. Today there are a heck of a lot of other things to look at other than trying to catch a dip on Zoom Info, which might come.
Okay, so I'm just seeing you here, Tim. I'm trying to find that email that I put out about me debating it wasn't an email, it was a tweet, about what we're gonna buy for a new phone here. I was looking at the OnePlus. You know, I started with like the OnePlus 4 at one point, Tim. I don't know where it is. I just want trying to show everybody did that. But you got the OnePlus 9, good phone. We'll look to get into that space maybe. But I was thinking just waiting for the Pixel 6 because that's gonna be coming out in the fall. And every Pixel has been getting better and better. I still only have the 3, which apparently you still get pretty high value for that, and it's still a super, super fast phone. So I'll probably keep the Pixel 3 until the 6 comes out. But Tim, let me know on chat or on Twitter what your opinion of the OnePlus 9 is. Is that a bigger? I think there's a Pro, which is like the 6. I actually like the smaller form phone a little bit better than the bigger ones. But if that is one of those, then cool. Let's talk about AMD. I mean, I like the smaller ones. If that's a bigger one, I think they might have a smaller one, the OnePlus 9 and then the OnePlus 9 Pro. Okay, AMD. Oh man, that's right. We can't look at a daily chart. I wanted to look at this stock today just a little bit because we had a monster move yesterday where we talked about the 107 break. We've been long this name since the 60s. We talked about it. It's just, I wonder if it's a little bit overdone. Yesterday we did have, let's call up a 3-minute chart here quickly. I told you I'd call up some more charts. I just don't want to get them frozen too much. Look at this 107.50 level. Bounced off of it. Ever since we missed that 107 punch yesterday, went all the way to 110, 110.50. I just think a pullback today may be due. The NASDAQ starting to go a little bit here. It was down. It was close to red or was red earlier, and then now we're just bumping up a little bit. But if the NASDAQ doesn't go today, then yeah, you're going to get some sell-off in some of these names that have run, right? So AMD's run, I think, too much at this point. And I love AMD, so it's hard for me to say this to you guys. But again, it's kind of like when Ford was up at that 1620 level or so, and I was like, I just had a feeling that it's gone a little bit too far there. I'm not going to trim. I've already trimmed off 25%. We talked about that. Some here at 98 and some here at 104.50 or so. So we have missed the ultimate upside, but I mean, off earnings, just look how far extended we are again. And look, there's lots of stocks that look like this. Moderna looks like this. You just saw Pfizer looking like this as well. There's nothing wrong with being this far away from the 50-period moving average. It's just, you know, it hasn't, the last time it was like that, we kind of went parabolic here. And this is where we first started buying 50s, and that's why my average price is 60, because we bought in here again at 70. But look, like that parabolic move up, and then you get a nice little fall back in, move up. And so anyways, every time you move up, you can just see it for yourself. There is a little bit of a pullback coming. So I do like AMD for a little bit of a short through 107.50 if the NASDAQ doesn't follow through here. So that's something that I have my eye on. It's only 8:48 now, so lots of time to go before the market even comes close to opening. We'll check the imbalances as they come, but Brendan over there at the big screen.
Yeah, a lot of little or smaller chip makers reporting this week as well. We had this one, ON, was out yesterday, I believe. But as we see very often, after a company reports decent earnings, they get an upgrade. So Morgan Stanley upgrading ON Semiconductor. There's Square on here today. What a move Square had yesterday, by the way. We haven't even talked about that. I'm sure we will. Workday and that ZI at the bottom there. Affirm over on this side today, guys. Take-Two Interactive there as well after that China news.
Yeah, Affirm basically flat. I mean, we talked about a lot about Square and their Afterpay acquisition. Affirm was up based on that, and you can see where this thing has come from. It's been chopped in half. I mean, just look at the value. But at the same time, you know, you catch that downgrade because a lot of people think the premium's already put in if someone would come in. I don't know, like could it be Spotify? When people are throwing that name around, I read this morning. who knows? It's got to be on watch, obviously, because there's going to be a lot of bio talk. Anytime you get a big deal like this, everyone starts thinking about what the next acquisition is going to be. So if it's going to be that, thank you so much, Maggie. Just got our coffee because the machine was broken, so we're good to go. But I do want to get to a couple of names here. Some people have asked about OTLK. That is on our watch list. I know it's a little further down here, guys, but usually a lot of times you'd see me short in a name like this. They got a stage 3 approval, and it's a little bit stronger looking of a chart, as you can obviously see here. Been putting up higher lows the whole way through and higher highs after the last spike into 420, which is probably the last. I mean, $4 to 420 is probably the last level you got. You can look at a 375, at least I am. Yeah, it's always 420. I mean, I'm not making it up. These things, it just, for whatever reason, it's like I just see it. You see it on the chart when you're looking for it, I guess is what I'm going at. I actually tried to short this one after 7 o'clock. It pushed into this level here. I'm like, okay, consolidation lower. We'll go short, get stopped out. And then when it came back in, there was just buying it. Like, there was size buying at $3. So that's all I can say. The size buying at $3, and it put in a low at 280. I'm like, okay, I'll just go into the long here. Got 301s, was able to take profit out. It tried to break 3 like several times, couldn't, and now it's starting to get going. So I'll be covering this in front of 335, but this is a relatively strong, I guess, mover, I guess, at least on the tape anyways, and then certainly seeing that on the daily chart as well, guys. So OTLK, it will be on watch today, one of these not a low float, but certainly a small cap mover. 16 million in volume, probably going to do at least 100 million shares by end of day.
Yeah, we'll say thank you once again. We'll do O Canada, and we'll say thank you because now we got the Timmys here, the Tim Hortons. So the coffee machine is working, but it's leaking. I think that's because I got a coffee and it's actually fine. The coffee's fine here. It's just I just prefer, obviously, nice, fresh, warm, hot coffee. Not that ours isn't fresh, it is the beans itself. We are WHLM short right now. What is this? Wilhelmina International Inc.? Okay. It wasn't too much news on this. Maybe when we throw back to Brendan, we can talk about WHLM. But, I'm going to go short on this one until we find out what the heck's going on with this. We weren't able to find too much in our watch list. I guess our watch list is working today. Watchlist.tradertv.live. Go check. Is it up and working? Yeah, yep. Good. Okay, so you can check that out. You do have some $7 areas here on this name, so we still have a little bit to run. This position could be in trouble. We are short 597 right now, but we have a decent amount of shares. So let's just wait to see where we're going. I'm kind of excited. It's 2.3 million and not really running. So I think there's a chance that we could fill this gap a little bit back down. Not all the way back down to here, but just look at the volume. Like yesterday, you barely even have any ticks whatsoever. You even have gaps in the data because there's no trading. And then today, now lots of action to the upside on WHLM. So I'm going to short it and see what happens. I don't expect it to fall to 4, but I mean, if we can get anything in the mid 5s, that'll be considered a pretty decent trade for me.
Yeah, if there's news on that thing, I definitely haven't seen it. We noted that on our watch list. It has had spikes like this before, and as you can see, the history is that they've been faded each time. So you always have to take a look at that. Like, what's the history of the stock? And it's been really, really good off of this 620 level, like several times, been able to get short. Although you got to know, like, it is holding this 5. You can call it like 588, 589 or whatnot. So when it breaks, if it breaks through that, I should never say when. If it breaks through that, I think that's where you get that flush into the downside. And it is also set up, if it does one of those pops, short back into like a level like this is at 930, that's a good place to maybe add. I wouldn't let it take out the top though.
Not seeing much of a movement here yet on Nikola shares, guys, but Nikola just out here with their earnings report. So this is just coming through as we speak. Looks like a 20 cent per share loss for the quarter. They're talking about the second half of 2021 for initial deliveries for one of their products. I'll continue to read this, but not much reaction here as far as Nikola is concerned, but heads up there, that one just rolling through as we speak. NVIDIA, guys, another one to have a look at here. I just saw this note from JP Morgan. I can show you this as well. JP Morgan hiking NVIDIA. I mean, these chip makers have been amazing, to say the least, over the past month or so. So another upgrade from JP Morgan there for NVIDIA. If you haven't done so already, make sure you take a second, head over to that link and grab the morning note. Guys, we send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30, absolutely free. All you need is an email address and you can have our absolutely free, as I said, morning note. Take Two Interactive, the first one on there. As we said, reported earnings. I mean, it was kind of in line to a little bit below estimates, but the bigger story here, obviously, this China headline. China State Media coming out calling the video game industry and video games in general spiritual opium. If you missed that headline, so heads up if you're trading any of these today.
I mean,
to me, I don't really care about that. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything for me.
Ridiculous.
TTWO is what it is. It's only 12,000 shares today, Crimea River, on this one. I mean, it's down to 166. It's been a decent stock, just hovering around these levels. So this is a good opportunity to buy it if you like that. I mean, who really cares what they say over there in China? I mean, are they going to ban video games? I mean, I don't really know where this is going. So that's why we do. Oh, this might be a good time to put up the poll. That's why we're talking about this, right? I mean, it's just that it's like if you think this is a good opportunity. I mean, look, Take-Two was obviously in trouble before 187. The chart doesn't look great. It's trying to break out. It didn't. But again, it could have maybe got back to 188, 190. It's been a great little monster from the bottom here. There's no doubt about that. You can look at every single video. I mean, not every single one. You can look at EA Sports, Take-Two. We just talked about Activision. They have a few more problems. You can look them up as well with HR and things like that. But you're going to see Take-Two from basically 95 back in April of 2020, which, again, we know what the story was there, up to 211. So that's a double there in just over a year, or just under a year, actually. More than a double there. And then now you're giving back a little bit, and you're just right back to these levels. So again, we'll go back to the same thing. If you like the space, you like what's happening, then I think it's time to start pulling the trigger, in my opinion anyways. Like I'd be a small nibbler on some of these things, and we'll talk about that here. Let's see where we're at right now. More votes right now, 351 votes right here. Are you investing in any Chinese equities? And Take-Two's not. These aren't Chinese equities, but it's kind of the same thing. No, yes, small. So right now the no kind of leading, but yes, small nibbling. I think that's the right play. But again, do it for your portfolio. I just think that right here, Take-Two's at a decent level. We talked about EA Sports a little bit. Let's check out that. EA. Let's check out them a little bit here. 143. You know the names that these guys have, of course. The Madden franchise, Sims, things like that. And look what this has been doing. And this is what I mean. I don't understand right now what video games are up to. They're not paying a dividend. But again, you go back to these lows, $87, $88, a double again. So like I said, most of the video games will look like this. And then this chart looks stronger than Take-Two. So I would choose EA, but you can see they're not dropping so much on any sort of news. So let's wait to see on this one, 138, 139. And again, you got to do a little more research, right? Like who actually is producing in China, which names actually have more exposure. So I don't know. For me, it's an opportunity to buy, but play your own portfolio, obviously. Just
because, ATVI is a really, really weak-looking chart as well, guys. So Activision needs to make some kind of consolidation. That's to be for sure. But like, keep in mind with this. Like this is like a couple of weeks ago. It's probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. There were talks of Tencent Music using facial recognition to enforce their curfews, their gaming curfews, to ensure that minors weren't playing late. So, the idea that the regulators couldn't do something that Texas is certainly going to be true. I think that's why, like EA, you're going to be safer in there, just to play it safe. You don't know what's coming next. You kind of feel like there's a limit to what they would and would not do. I think that's why a lot of people feel comfortable in the EV space. And at some point, that was crazy. At some point, there's going to be, I think, a room for some buying. I would stay away from the gaming because you do have weak charts across the board without this news, especially with the reopening coming through. So, maybe there's a value in Activision if it gets down into the high 60s, to be sure. But EA is a much, much better looking chart for safety if you have to be in for some reason.
Just reading Nikola's earnings, guys. Their GAAP EPS actually beat by 4 cents per share, which is pretty interesting for Nikola. So still not really doing much here in the pre-market. It is up on the morning, but not very active, to say the least. Simon Property Group, they are trading higher this morning. Decent report for them, guys, right across the board. They also increased their full year forecast as malls get open, people get back to shopping. Pretty good look here for SPG today.
Yeah, a good dividend. They did cut their dividend a while ago to save some capital to survive during this, but we've talked about this mall operator for a very, very long time. Shout out to Daryl, who I know is long with me in this area. I mean, what a great bottom this was. We were able to protect it at the $60 level, and now we're rewarded with a double, soon to be even more than that off this report. So again, another great bottom pick buy here. This JP Morgan Square and Tesla were basically, and Disney were the three that I were really dipping into when we had this kind of a collapse here. And then the number to me that makes a lot of sense and that I really like to see as a shareholder of this company, U.S. malls and outlets occupancy 91.8%. So again, a lot of retail coming back to life right now. I know that there's obviously going to be restrictions that are now coming back. I mean, the U.S. numbers are getting out of hand, to be quite frank. But again, not a political thing, just what it is. Still going shopping, right? And that's the thing that I'm really impressed with. 92% occupancy rate here. Beat all the numbers. Shopper traffic. I mean, this is what they're talking about. You know, they're impressed with the shopper traffic that's coming through. So I think this is great. I think this is great for Foot Locker. I think it's great for a lot of those retail names, Gap, things like that. Macy's not in these kind of malls, but you know, big time movement up here for SPG. I think it's good for some of the small businesses. We're going to look to see if there's any money to be made here, but it looks like people are coming back in droves to malls. I mean, I know that to be a fact even here in Canada, where we have very, very tight restrictions. Still, you know, the malls are getting to be packed and packed and packed. I drive by them and have been into a couple, and they're getting busier by the minute. So I do like SPG. Obviously, only 15,000 shares today, so not much happening on that front. And as I call up the imbalance locator here today, we'll probably get to square at some point, but what a monster move yesterday off that afterpay move. We can look at Affirm. Pfizer still rocking and rolling. Uber coming later this week. I really hope it gets crushed because I want to buy some Uber. You know, I mean, it might be a buy right now. We can talk about that as the show goes on. QuantumScape on here as well. BP. So not much now that we look at this. There's Alibaba on the downside. So a few things coming, but Simon Property Group, I think it's great for the malls. There's a few other names you can get into if you do like commercial real estate, but I think SPG is the best.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of the retailers, obviously. The interesting thing to me is that you get pre-pandemic return in terms of traffic and not necessarily at pre-pandemic prices. Some of that might have to do with the fact that there's a sea change probably going on long-term there, guys. But if you have to be in this, you got to be in the best one. And the chances I've definitely picked the best here. I prefer, I'm not as bullish on something like that Foot Locker but I'm wanting to get into Nordstrom's for sure. But I think you play some of these with the bigger brands is the best way to participate in some of the growth that's come back to the consumer. That's why I like the Nikes. I like your EPGs. I like your Pepsis, of course. But if you got to be in the space, I'd rather be here than a lot of the other retailers because. I mean, just pull up a chart of some of these other guys like Nordstrom's. I mean, Macy's has done pretty well, but some of them under pressure. Even with this recovery, they've been pulling back.
All right, let's get a look at the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun, get his take on the futures for this morning. We are trying to bounce here, Arun. That was a pretty sharp sell-off, though, there in the pre-market.
Yeah, it was a sharp sell-off. Keep in mind, though, we're mid-range, right? The big range that we've been working since the 26th or so of July, 44.25 seems to be the high. 43.50, around 43, just underneath 43.50 is the low that I'm going to be working with, and we're sitting mid-range here. So when it comes to mid-range trading or any sort of range trading activity, I like to trade on either end of the ranges. So above 4,400, closer to 44.10, like you saw yesterday, shorts around there with a stop above the range. And then if we can get underneath 43.70 with the stop below 43.50, it would be the preferable choice for trades. Now, if we're trading in the middle, it gets a little bit more delicate. I wouldn't force anything. If there's a really, really good setup with a great risk reward ratio, then maybe you can get a trade there. But for now, around this 43.90 mark up to 4,400, it's kind of tough. This is, like I said, some days you just got to put it aside and maybe trade something that's more active and that's more obvious to work with. The futures market right now, not that obvious to work with. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient with this, see if we can get to the bottom end of the range or even the top end of the range. 43.10 yesterday did hold well. So if we can get up there, I think there might be shorts on the table up there. 43.70, 75 seems to be holding decently to the downside. So maybe something down there could get us a setup to the long side. And for now, though, just be smart. Don't try to force any trades inside the range. See if you can catch something on the either end of the range or if the range breaks. But for now, just be patient.
Good stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Just having a look, guys, at Alibaba, another one heading back to the downside. Good report for Alibaba. Their Ant Group affiliated profit came in at a record. Revenue was up. Decent numbers here, Sean. What do you think for Baba?
I mean, I really like, I like everything about the report, but we've talked about this. I don't know if it can get out of its own way right now. 15 times earnings. I mean, can you find a cheaper name out there? But it's 15 times earnings for a reason, because there is that headwind, right? There's some big time risk. Alibaba is about as smooth as it goes. It's just you're taking on, part of what we've already been talking about here, and that's you're dealing with not the stock, you're dealing with some external factors. Not only that, they've increased their buyback to 15 billion, which is pretty huge right now. So that's the first time they've done that large. So you know what? I mean, they're buying the stock back. It's working. The sales were huge. Everything's good. I love Ant Financial. We talked about what's happening right now in the finance space and with DeFi and things like that. I mean, Ant Financial is going to be big. I don't know that much about it, but hey, it's Chinese again, so you're going to have some, headwinds with that as well. So, I really like Alibaba at these levels, but I don't think it's worth much here. If it drops into this area, maybe we start to buy even more, like 180, 190. It's about the 190 level that it's about 15 times forward earnings. So that's pretty great. The only name that I like that's even cheaper, or it's a little more expensive, but Facebook is 22 times. So I really, really like that call. But I mean, oh man, wow. I don't know. This is a big dip down, man. 185 would be really nice for Alibaba. I was expecting a much bigger play on this. I feel like some traders probably have calls which will not be working today. So I'm looking for the downside pressure on Alibaba, man. Unfortunately, we'll probably break this 194 and change. Look, I don't know if we get back to 183. That's where I pulled the trigger. If it comes back there, I'll pull it again. But that's Alibaba. There's always going to be other names to look at here. Let's just refresh this poll again. Over 500. Looks like 500 votes. 440. It's pretty good. Right now, it's starting to get a little bit better into the yes, small nibbling area. This is where I would include Alibaba. I would also include NEO into this area as well. I think that could be a name that you step into and buy, because we do know the Chinese government at least supports them. And then just FYI as well, we did take another Under Armour long, and now it's bumping back to the upside. So new trade alert, we're going to get to this, but Under Armour right now long at 22.20. Let's see where we go. We're printing 40s right now in Under Armour.
Yeah, I just got filled in that HJLI. We'll get to that one. I think that one didn't actually make it to our watch list, if I'm certain. But Alibaba, you look at this top here, and it kind of felt like you tried to break through pre-market. This 202, 202.50 area, guys. 202.50 to 203 looks like solid resistance. It looks like we're already chewing through 196. If it gets down to 190, I think there's a little bit of support down there in Alibaba. But I'm playing it off of that 202 level, or I'm not playing it at all. If we get 190 and we're bottoming out, fair enough. Just to quickly go over that HJLI, because it did come in just now. I mean, we'll show you the daily chart here, guys. A bit of a pop. There is a level here, if it were to get to like a 1050, that would stand out. And then you had this little flush bottom. It's not really a bottom. We call this like 880 or so, which we did turn around above that particular price and then consolidated at that same 880. That's kind of why I point to that gap in the chart. I'm shorting into that level at 930 or into 930, but I'll only take it here, and then probably I'll give it to like 915, 920. Don't necessarily want to be adding to ththese usually in that last 10 to 5 to 10 minutes going into the open. But I love the ones that already show you that they want to sell off, especially holding a higher low, and better if it's a significant level, which 880 was, at least on that daily chart.
All right, let's talk Square, guys. Pretty impressive move yesterday, to say the least, after the Afterpay announcement came out, picking up Afterpay for all stock. Square, I mean, multiple, and I mean 4, 5, 6, 7 different analysts out with positive notes on Square today. I mean, pretty good look here. We're kind of holding these support areas from late in the day yesterday, but Square is negative on the session so far.
Well, it can't go forever. I mean, that was a redonkulous reaction to that 29 billion stock purchase at the end of the day. You don't really see that very often. My daily chart's not going to want to low, but you know what? Really what you need to see is this. I mean, I shorted, hey, trades are showing up. Every now and then, man, every now and then we actually get to see our trades from yesterday. But we had that one short was the trade of the day, and we like to show winners and losers. Didn't find my way into a long because I anticipated being the acquirer that you'd see a little bit of a dip buy opportunity. And when it never came, I was just late to the party and tried to short off 270. Now we've held, if you look at this, 270, 270 in the afternoon, 270 right here. I mean, it's set up again. So this is just more of a technical thing than anything else. I mean, 270 break for me, it would be a shot that I think is worth taking, but not on a big stop, not for a breakdown. Maybe give it a couple of dollars, absolutely at best. Overall, in that overall, this buy now, pay later, it's definitely made a positive waves for a firm, which is now speculated that they could get purchased by somebody as well. Although they've already got put in a bit of a premium based on this deal that just happened, which is going to happen. So maybe a firm doesn't have as much to run, given how much it came yesterday. But certainly it puts the screws to names like PayPal and some of the others in the space, because Square, a big bad boy, came in there and made one of the biggest purchases. A lot of synergies to be had. I just still think when I look at that 270, I can't see a level like this, especially holding a lower high, and not think there's not a 270 breakdown trade here. I mean, just even if it goes a couple of dollars really quickly, you can have a one-to-one style trade there, let alone to this like middle support level. That was 262 on the pullback, right? That's $8 from 270. I almost got to have that trade.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes from here. Really, it's going to be Square. I mean, big move. We did have some of this short into this. Actually, no, we bid the long here on Square yesterday after this move happened. So we were able to. Too bad the trades aren't in here, but we were able to make a little bit of money on Square in the afternoon. Under Armour starting to go now finally as well. 14 cents in the money. That WHLM going to the upside. But yeah, 270 here. I'm just loading up a 3-minute chart on my other page here, so I can look at more charts for you guys as we go, so I don't have to keep doing this. But there's the big move. We talked about that. The trade of the day yesterday was a short into this. Like, we still couldn't believe that this was happening, but we were able to get out of that short, which was pretty good. Neil, it's on Neil's trade of the day yesterday. Good, because it went all the way to 280, right? So you can't hold things forever. So that's part of that lesson for sure. And then, I don't know, man. I don't mind a breakdown here, but again, like Neil said, there's only so many competitors now in this space, right? And so now Square becomes just one of those, and we'll see. I mean, Cash App is absolutely huge. Those of you in the US and that use it know what I'm talking about. So let's see what's gonna happen, man. They're gonna be the one-stop shop for everything. And remember, they don't have to, like a Square and a PayPal, they don't have to hold the same sort of backing like they do in a bank. They don't have that responsibility to hold money into reserve or anything like that. They don't have loan responsibilities the same way that these other, like that Square or PayPal or like those other companies, they don't have any of that regulatory risk on with them, right? So that's the one thing. Banks have to be very, very careful. These guys really don't. It's a very, very dangerous thing. I feel like the Afterpay and Affirm and things like that is not the highest. Like American Express is kind of like people putting everything down, grabbing those points, a little bit of a higher tier spender. These guys, a little bit less of a tier, which I think really does fit with Square. A lot of they may not trust credit cards. People don't want to pay like 20-25% interest. It's ridiculous, right? A lot of these buy now, pay later firms, it's very small. If they have any fees whatsoever, it's cancellation fees and very, very small interest fees. So I think that there is some synergies there, and I like Square moving forward. I'm really, really super happy that I'm already pretty long this name. So I'm not trimming anything for Square. I think this is the future. You guys know my love for some of the fintech names. I'm long PayPal, I'm long PaySafe, and now I'm long Square. I'm long SoFi, so the story continues. Obviously, I like some of these names.
All right, Tesla was very strong, guys, right out of the gate yesterday. Back in positive territory for the 4th consecutive day here for Tesla, 1.3%. We saw some of the other Chinese-related EV makers yesterday come out with strong delivery numbers. There was a lot of analysts hinting at Tesla's Chinese delivery numbers will also be around a record or near a record when they come out, typically a few days after we get NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto. So nice look here again today for Tesla.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, next stop, hopefully maybe get it to the next couple of days, that 740, break that 87, and then 800 on the break. It was sort of slow going. I mean, at first, when you had that 635 break, it took you to 700. I think we took a little bit longer to break out, maybe just waiting for some kind of a catalyst. And at the end of the day, like, you get to the earnings season, and I think that's what kind of snapshotted us, slapshotted us up through that 700 finally. As we get here, you look to hold on these, you look to hold a dip. I'm looking back to it's about 705-ish. Let's just call it as a first level. If it does break 700, I think I'd defend 695 to be sure as well. It still needs to break out past that 725 mark, so that's going to be in play for me today. My first look is on a flat day, and we're up 1.2%, is going to be if we can dip back down into 705 for sure on Tesla. But we did miss that breakout yesterday. It broke 700 in the pre-market, and it kind of already tested that level. So, that's. I don't think I've ever taken a breakout in Tesla in the pre-market, so I could have started yesterday. Obviously, it would have been a good decision to do so, but I'll kind of stick to my rules with that one and just wait for the open to play itself out. At this point, the break would be to me at 25 or 27 up at the top. So first things first, looking for a dip at 705, then try again at 695. But I love Tesla. Can't say anything bad about them. I just cautionary note on this Wilhelm because it's starting to move here. Did I say Wilhelm? Wilhelmina. Oh, goodness. Every now and then, guys, we'll get these ones right. But it just popped again, so we were scalping some out here when it got to 580. Couldn't break that 580. Starts to churn around 650, so not quite at this 666, 670 area, but at that 650. I get a little bit in because I can't be averaging in too much into this thing before 930. I thought that's when the rollover or the push into a rollover would happen at 930, but we're 15 minutes away, so can't dig in or go all in just yet. But that's on decent and sustaining volume that you guys can't see. Yeah, decent and sustaining volume that you just saw. Big volume spike that came in there, it wasn't out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be smoking on Sesamina, not Wilhelmina today as we go, guys. Up 50% right now. I think we just made basically the same trade. We shorted more here at 650. So I have probably too many shares right now. We'll wait to see where it's going to go, but I'm going to use probably 7 or so as our out as we look at this name. Again, one of those names that are just being sort of pumped up on Reddit a little bit, so we'll wait to see where we go from here. But 685, some of these highs we're not super in love with, but that's Wilhelmina right now. We already took a nice little profit here on a 1-minute chart. You can see here with our UAA, some nice trades to the upside here, bang, bang there. Good outs, our best out 50 or 46, 45 there off of our long at 20. So already multiple pennies win here on UAA. We just need Wilhelmina to come back down. We're now short at 08. Let's see where we go from here.
A couple of things of note, guys. Moderna just got FDA fast track designation for another respiratory, looks like virus vaccine. So another type of mRNA or RNA vaccine, it looks like. So that just came through. Moderna just popping up there, 1.5% back above 350. It's been in a bit of a range here the past couple of days. I also just saw Marriott reported here in the pre-market. Looks like profit beat. So a positive start to the day for some of the hotels. To the upside, let's talk about Corsair as we head towards the open here. The one-time meme stock, if you remember, reported EPS that missed by 3 cents per share. Revenue also missed as well for CRSR, guys.
Yeah, this is a breakdown on the chart here. You're going to look at the daily and through this 2850 on Corsair. And look, we said that there's a lot of gaming names that are making this break to the downside. This one off consolidation at 2850. That's going to be, to me, the resistance level, obviously. They missed by 3 cents a share, but they also missed on revenue. Not going to be a good look, especially in this particular climate. Now, is this, look, at the end of the day, is some of this extending further because of the news that you got from China across the board and indiscriminately? There's certainly a possibility that that's true. I think if it gets anywhere near 2850, that would be one short. The other one that I would put on if I wasn't already looking at TTWO on the chance that it pops upside, I might prefer that one on volume, but we'll see what happens here on Corsair. It might make the same movement to 2750. I'll likely sit this one out unless we're talking the 2850 level, and then play probably a take two in the same fashion. I just feel like Corsair's gone pretty far. It's done decent volume though, so if I see a take two doesn't have enough volume on it, I might flip over to Corsair and then see if I could fade 2750 instead. But I'm for now going with take two first, and then Corsair is play two.
Yeah, it's on the watch list right here already. We've talked, or on my sticky note here, Corsair also on the watch list as well. So you can check this out We do like the short, same kind of thing, man. Short into yesterday's close if we can get anything like that. Like up here would be really nice. 28 and change for a short. We'll take it. And then, yeah, breaking back lower. Look, we talked about this yesterday on the daily chart when we looked at this name, Corsair. You could see here, it just failed, right? It broke down, not a great report. You're going to see it come to the bottom now printing below this level. And when you break out like this to the downside, it's not good, man. Look out below. They IPO'd real low, $14. This is probably one of the best IPOs there was in 2020 for sure. Corsair from 14 up to 52 and then kind of hung around at $40, right? So there's lots of opportunity to take out your position, even if you liked it up on the upside. And then when we broke here, and then now I just wonder, are people holding the bag? And anybody long down here now off of a bad report may want to dump their shares before we even get lower. 22, 23, maybe we even revisit 18. So let's wait to see what Corsair does, but I like the bottom break on this. Like a 26.50, we're gonna get locked and loaded and hit that short. So Corsair for a short, and I already have offers on the upside. So if we do bust out a little bit up here, 28.40, 28.50, then we'll take that short as well. Wilhelmina right now 40 cents out of the money and UAA 20 cents in the money. So we're battling back and forth with these two current positions.
Let's talk about that UAA. They reported earnings of 24 cents per share in their latest quarter, beating estimates. Revenue was up 91%. Pretty good report right across the board for Under Armour. Just having a look at the A class shares, if you're wondering, guys. The UA, just one A is the C class. AA, the A class, 5.5% here for them.
Yeah. Yes, and you'll always see us trade the UAA because it does a little bit better volume. That's usually what the day traders try to get into. I know Sean's already in position, so we don't talk too much about it, except for the fact that it's already breaking. I had 23.40 already down for a little bit of a resistance point. It's held that level pretty decently here. I also want to check back because we're essentially right at 22.30, which was this previous high. So in the off chance, and then you're going to get you already have a gap up, which is fading here. If we hold that 22, like if there's a dip into 22, the retracement buy to me would be at that 22.30 level, sort of retaking that level. I'm not getting into a pre-market here. I think I have enough on the plate already, especially with this Wilhelm making moves here, guys. I'll get it right one of these days, the first time. So I'm probably not going to dip first into UAA, but that 22, if it holds 22 and comes back, 22.30 is an entry point on the way back up. Maybe shaking out some longs would be one way to go for me here. But WHLM, and I think that HJLI going to take precedence for me, looking at some Tesla, of course. And then you can't get too far away from either Take Two or Corsair. And then you still have that OTLK that I'm already sitting in the long. So lots to go with here. Under Armour, just another good name and fantastic earnings for them.
Neil, you're getting it right every time. It's Wilhelmina, so don't.
Is it Wilhelmina?
Yep.
Oh,
so don't feel bad there. You're getting it right. That's why we talked about that Sesamina as well. UAA to the upside right now. Look. Retail, I just finished talking about SPG and what I thought about retail. UAA obviously does. I picked up some nice golf gear from their online store. I really like their online offering as well. And when you have a good online offering, that's where the wife customized the Air Force Ones. So Nike goes up on that news. So not on the fact that I have Air Force Ones, but on the fact that their internet is blowing up and it's just so easy to use. If you don't have, haven't experienced that, go to the Nike website, go to the Under Armour website. They're all just crushing it right now. Bigger. They guided forward. We like that. I mean, I like everything about Under Armour, and I just think it's a buy, right? And so when we get these dips into here, and again, watch list is up. Sorry, the sticky note is up on the site, so you can check that out. It was a big help yesterday for me and for a lot of traders. So sticky note there. Maybe Valeria can put that in the chat. But we did buy any dips, and we talked about doing that. So let's see if it breaks 21, man. I mean, it's a good report. They guided higher. Hey, when you're going to guide higher and you are a retail, we'll put that and we'll take it. So that's good, man. I mean, they're not a retailer, they're a retail brand. And so we'll wait to see where it goes. I just think they're not getting beat up by, and here comes Wilhelmina, by the way, Neil. A nice little move to the downside, starting to finally catch in a bit on that one. But the point about Under Armour is, I don't think Nike's eating their lunch as much as maybe people think, which Nike's crushing them. So let's not get that straight or twisted. But again, with the Olympics here, I don't know if there's any sponsorships happening with Under Armour, but I mean, athletics is what it is. And Under Armour has a good number there. So I'm going to go long, only up 5% here. The daily chart kind of supports this decision, I believe, bouncing off that 50 period. That's at 21. Now let's see if we go. We were just at 26 not too long ago. I'm a fan here of Under Armour, obviously, so we are long that name.
Sorry, I just want to quickly jump in there. I got to say one thing about the Olympics, as you mentioned it. Sifan Hassan is the most ridiculous distance runner I've ever seen in my life. She's a Nike athlete. If you haven't checked it out, she was absolutely unbelievable. She's going to do the triple. I hope she wins triple gold. I think she can do it. Sorry.
A few small caps, guys. Bottom end of the list this morning. This one didn't make it because it came out after we sent out the list. So HJLI was up on an FDA fast track designation for one of their treatments. It broke down through 850 here on decent volume. It's consolidating below 850. So if you are involved in that, use 850 at this point. Above that, if you go to the daily chart, this area over here is 10 to 1020. So I'm discounting the top and just going right to 10. And apparently my TV just shut off. So I'll throw it back to you guys.
That is the
green.
psychedelic.
I think it's just predicting the market, right? I mean, it's a green TV. The NASDAQ's now up that 0.25 and starting to rock and roll. We talked to Arun earlier about some of these. So yeah, Brennan's screen telling the future there. So the NASDAQ right now, again, obviously that screen was a glitch, but now looking to take out day's high. We saw that big sell-off. We talked, I mean, that's not even that big, but there was a sell-off there that happened. A couple bottoms, and look at these higher low, higher low, higher low again. And now you're starting to make new highs. So let's wait to see if it can hold. There's another bottom there. I mean, you could see all the way up, creating some nice little formations here, and then also trying to hit those higher highs. So let's wait to see where we go. But right now, the NASDAQ looking like it wants to take off. And I think that makes sense today. Square trying to go, AMD, we can have a quick look here. So Wilhelmina here did come back down, so there's a nice little short. We're still caught because we initially built this through 6 when we first came in here and started to look at some of these names, about 820 or so, or 805, I guess, was the first trade. There, we should have been shorted up here, and then we wouldn't have had any problems. But now we're coming back to the downside on this one. UAA turns on us a little bit. Let's see if there's anything on the imbalance locator why the NASDAQ's starting to run here. Square, nope. 271 still, so that's actually going higher. Alibaba has nothing to do with the NASDAQ, and that's actually going lower right now. This is a 3-minute chart. You can see Alibaba continues to go down. I'm going to have a 3, a 1, and a daily for you guys now every day. And then there's Robinhood, man, right at 38. I'm going to go long on a 38 break. Although I feel like this is going to be a trap, okay, because 38 is going to break. It's going to cause some panic early, and then it may snap right back down. But remember what Neil said earlier, and I didn't even look it up, but we don't have to pay for shorts anymore. So that may be an indicator that the shorts are now freed up, thus maybe creating, I mean, you could go either way. Panic on the sell side to the down now because there's more people can get shorts, or the fact that they're not so valuable anymore, maybe that creates it to run a little bit. So we'll see what happens right now with Robinhood. I don't mind it at 38, but look, it's doing a lot of volume here, bouncing around. So if you're short up here, you could probably take some profits. So I'm going to go long Robinhood on a 38 break, but I'm not super in love with that trade.
I double check. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's like 40, 20, 40. It broke 40 on the first day. I think it was like 40 and a quarter, maybe 22 or 25. That's the high. So I mean, if it breaks for 38, the next level up, I think is going to be maybe that 40 if there's enough juice to it, because people can short it for free, and a lot of people like shorting it. So you might actually get some explosion through there. I'm just going to get to Sava quickly. We only have 3 minutes to go here. Wilhelmina is back in the teens. I need that thing down below $6. That'll look a heck of a lot better. But Cassava Sciences off of 65. So when it got cut in half, in literally 2 sessions, it got cut in half and then some. It's been on an upward swing. I had 1 long off the open. That's the only thing we played. I'm now looking back to this level. I'm looking 95. Obviously, on Friday we were looking at a trade where we thought we had a chance at 95. I had it twice and managed to fail. Arun had a fantastic breakdown. I'm going to go back to this level and give it a little bit more room if it gets up there. I think if I'm taking that 95 off of the 95 level, the way I want to play it is half the shares. I'm going to use a 95 stop and then try to run it back to the consolidation it's seeing now. And the other half, I'm willing to roll it into 100, which is what I should have done last time. I missed out on a $20 winner because I only wanted to risk $1 on a stock that had a $20 range, which is ridiculous, obviously, and I kind of know that. So I am watching Sava. I know it's long. It was a long for me yesterday. But I'm just looking to fade this one if it gets any more strength into it. So looking 95, looking 100. I wouldn't let it go past the 100 level. That probably goes without saying, but I'm saying it anyways.
So I'm going to show some love here to Harry. I don't know. I get this is about. I talked about Tesla. We talked about the sticky note here, and here we go. I guess this is like I thought that this was going to be a scary thing at one point, but I guess this is just the elephant hugging the trainer here. So I guess that's a good thing. So I guess that means that Tesla bringing people in and showing some love. So there it is. I thought that was pretty cute there. Elephants. Elefante, I used to call them Elefantes. So there it goes out now. So anyways, nice little call there. Thank you for the love. And here goes Tesla, man. We've been loving Tesla for a long time. And I've been telling you guys, I mean, damn it, I can't look at this because we don't have our split adjusted. Was loving this down here, man, 640, 650. We didn't buy any more Tesla. We're already long this name. Should have pulled the trigger down here around 600, didn't. Easy to say when it's at 720. But I mean, I've already called that we're going back up here by Christmas. So whether or not you want to get it now at 720 or you believe there's a little bit of a dip buy coming and you may be able to get where we were just 5 days ago at 640. So this is definitely making moves right now. Tesla to the upside, lots of love there, lots of elephant hugs and everything for Tesla as it just continues to go upside. So it's broken out through the range there. That range was 700. The minute that broke, it's off to the races. And there's a 3-minute chart. This is the only problem that's going to be confusing is me pulling back and forth. Maybe a high of 725. I like playing the quarters, so we can play that. Under Armour takes a dip back down, so we did buy some 22s there, evens. Now you're back up to the 20s again, so a nice little move for UAA. Let's see where it goes off the open. UAA and Wilhelmina, both trades that I have on. Only 30 seconds ago, we also want to look at AMD as well, breaking that 107.50 on the downside if that happens. I may let that happen and then revisit it, but if you are negative here on AMD, that may be something.
Yeah, I've been taking a bunch of profit off on that OTLK, and I'll probably look if it breaks like a 298 or something. I'll kind of let this one. I'll just get it out if it breaks it at the open and look back at like a 280 level. But gotta drop that countdown. Miss V is on the bell. She's in green. Market is green. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get this Tuesday started. Almost got that wrong.
All right, there it is. Some bells, some whistles, some everything popping off here. Let's see what happens now with NEO. We won't mind getting that one if it comes down to the dip side of things. We always talk about grabbing NEO if it does dip down a little bit to see if that happens. But the NASDAQ right now just rocking and rolling. Wilhelmina not doing much, going upside right now. We do have an AMD offer, or sorry, short ready to go. But as you can see, man, see ya to AMD. Congratulations, anybody on AMD. And what's up with Wilhelmina as that's starting to crash down a little bit. We just got our 603, 601 bid there for a nice little win on that one.
Yeah, and immediately there's a bit of a pop there in that OLT. Oh, okay, I can zoom in for you guys. Immediately there's a bit of a pop there in the OLTK, but it does stop us out that we never got anything out of that 310 range. I obviously should have, guys, but Square heads to the downside on that break. So look, we said it was just a pure momentum play. That's all it is.
Wow,
it's 270 breaking down. Immediately you're going to take that 28.40 out there. So quick like $1.60 on the trade. I'm going to hang on to the rest. See if we got another move in it for us. Wilhelmina looks good. Square heading back in. We thought 262 was the ultimate target for any 270 break.
Yep, 262 is a good one there. As yeah, we're pretty big here on Wilhelmina as it's starting to crash back to the downside. Let me just double check to make sure I have some bids. I have to alphabetically sort these. 91s is a bid that we have out right now. That's basically this bottom. That was probably getting a little bit too greedy there. But let's see what happens when it breaks through 6. Man, we're short at 11. We've got a decent position on, so this one could be a cash money for us as we go. Watching out for Under Armour open and not doing much. AMD guys, you might have heard me under my breath there. Wow, up to 110 now, AMD, just straight shots. I said that maybe it was overdone and we may take a 107.50 break, but obviously it's saying no to that one. And then we also love ourselves from Facebook, which was on this 253 coming right now for Facebook. So watch out. That was a name that we like. I think this is the best name in the S&P right now if you have dry powder, Facebook.
Yeah, and got a little bit out there at 6 on Wilhelmina, but it's coming right back into this 650 area. Zoomed in nicely for you guys there. If it comes back closer to like that 50 and rolls over, I would have added to it on that 930 pop notion. HJLI back to like 820, so I got an 840 short on that. Needed to break $8. If it comes back like an 850, I would roll into some more of that one, but I don't want to be digging too deep. And I got a couple of these at the same time. Square just came back above that 270, so we scalped some out. I got 269.99 on the short side of that trade. Got out $1.50. Now it's starting to come back in. I'm not going to average into it yet, but watch out. Wilhelmina testing that 655.
Yeah, there it goes. That's why we only took out like 20% down here at 6. So here we go, man, right to the upside. Wilhelmina starting to go. Remember, super low float here. And yeah, it looks like now, people are getting onto this name. So it did have that little dip to the opportunity there to get out, like we talked about. Neil just talked about that. So we can move on from it. But that is moving around, obviously, as we go square back to the upside. Palantir starting to drop down a little bit as well. This report's coming August 13th or 16th, I believe. I think it's the 16th, or is it PaySafe? Anyways, one of those two names. Palantir. Look at this, a big dip down. It resists that 75 level. We can look back here at a 3-minute chart. Yesterday, look at this long that we had here. Straight to the upside. Some nice love there on a dip. So we're trying to maybe do something similar, but the NASDAQ with a beautiful fall down here, man. I'm long UAA. We're gonna have to check back on that one as that continues to fall down. So yeah, right now, this is not a horrible spot for UAA, sorry, for Palantir at this 2170 level. Looking pretty juicy here. So let's take some bids if we do come back into here, and then we'll start it. And then if we can defend the 50, man, we'll do it. But look at the
John,
NASDAQ.
you get Corsair.
Starting to crack. Oh my God, I didn't get Corsair?
Look at, oh my God, I know Corsair is down, and Take Two is down at like 158. I mean, there was just straight shots to the down. Both these straight shots to the downside, guys.
Not there,
so rolling over is a bit of an understatement on both of these gaming names. Now 8% on Take Two. I mean, if it gets a bit of a pop, I mean, we thought 160 was going to be support. There was nothing there. It just chewed right through it. Maybe it'll be resistance. That HJLI on me here, like it just looked like it was going to bust out that 8. So it needed to break $8. It touches down and then comes right back to the upside. So a little bit of strength coming into that one. We're back down to 268 on Square, so that continues to southbound, guys. Still targeting 262. If it catches a bid at 265, might have to reevaluate. But for now, the short's looking good.
Yeah, that's Square. I mean, look at the NASDAQ, man. There's absolutely puke city there. So we actually maybe get lucky here a little bit. We catch Robinhood bid that we wanted right into this 37. We've talked about that on the pre-show. So hopefully you guys had some of that. So that's a nice little 20-cent win right now. We only bid 37.20. So we do have the bottom Wiccans there. The bottom day is 37.15. So let's wait to see if we can get back up to 37.80 or so right in the middle. Brendan will tell me if he doesn't want me to continue with that bottom Wiccans nonsense. I don't know who made that up. But that was pretty fun, actually. So we'll wait on that one. But right now, guys, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen now as Hood starting to go, man. 40 cents now in the money. UAA, we're trying on that one, guys. We got a bid there. It just almost cracked us out there on a 21 break. So we're looking at that name right now. That's UAA and Corsair, actually, a new position just popped in through 26.50. So that was a bottom that we liked. I can't let this go too much. We break back above this 27.10, we're going to get out. But right now we're short Corsair. Man, I'm in a lot of positions here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seconds away, I think, from getting finally getting Take Two. I just said if it comes back to that 160 area, I would take a shot at it. It bounced all the way down to 158. I'm kind of sitting here. There we go. I actually just got a new position alert, guys. So was able to get into some Take Two off of 160 area, guys. So, I mean, look, it flushed immediately. We're short in the first pop we see here on Take Two. I don't really have any long trades. I'll take you guys back to Square because it's always in the New York, Neil. Get it right. I just bounced at 266. We scalped some out. Did not get back in on this rollover. It actually tested that whole 930 ID into first resistance at 272.50. If it gets back to that price, I'm not letting Square get past 272.50 on me, guys, but I would take one shot, taking some more shares at 71.5 or something in that range. But the market heading a little bit southbound, still up on the session. It's not like we're rolling over completely, and only because it was moving, and we talked about levels yesterday. I will point out that AMC down 2.5%. It just got right into and broke down past that 34 level and that 34.70, which we're looking at. Watch out for that 31 double bottom if it ever gets there. Obviously, there's support on AMC down at that price, but maybe it'll hold that 34.70, which we should have had as for a break, as a bit of resistance to short.
Yeah, roger that. Okay, guys, quick little look here just to make sure that we're on the right page here with UAA. So right now Robinhood, man, look at this price, man, 37.21. We've already cashed in on this over and over again. Up. We still have a position. If it breaks above 38, we'll probably wind up getting out. Not probably, we will take more, long. Breaking with 38, a little bit higher than this, like 38.10, 38.15, something like that. It's just dancing at this IPO price, but we already have an 80-cent winner on this one. So this one's no problem here. there for Robinhood as it continues to go up. The biggest problem, like we keep saying, is this one, man. Under Armour looking to be in a little bit of trouble here. 21.85. I do want to get some out. If we can get back above 50, we'll take a little bit out because we don't want, you know, everything to be ruined by one trade. As we've averaged in too much here, we're waiting for that 21. Thought it was good, man. Thought it was a good quarter. It looks like we're a little bit wrong on that one. Robinhood right now dancing at 38. Take another piece out. What's up, Bren?
DLPN, big mover yesterday, guys. If you remember in the NFT space, a couple of headlines yesterday for them. There was a huge volume spike as it tried to get back above 11 there. Immediately rejected. It is down, obviously, off of these levels, but some volume coming back in here for DLPN.
All right. And we'll go with a little power up for the HJLI. It does get through that 8 mark. We take some off in front of, you know, we're always going to do it at that 3/4, so we get some 775 love here. If it pops back in, I mean, the out for me now is going to slide all the way down into this 850 area. But if it comes back up, we'll take a bit of an average in if we can get it. Take two. Look, we're going to have missed out on the first trade here. There's no question about it on take two, but it's now heading back down toward those lows. If I can get that quick little scalp. It's the first time through, you can hold on to it. The second time through, I'm definitely going to get some out in front of that current low of the day, which sits 158.25. If I can quickly snag a buck here, it allows me to rinse and repeat off this 161.50. Still sitting in square. That's a couple of bucks in the money as well. And finally, now, okay, so apparently I was saying it right. Wilhelmina, right? That's
Yep.
right. Wilhelmina finally making its move to the downside here. It did test the top. It did test the top there, and I missed the roll. Look, it's going to happen because I was getting into take two. HJLI was moving. A lot of things were happening at the same time, but this rollover did happen shy of the pre-market. I should have been adding to it at 650, 660. I did not, obviously, because I was preoccupied, but did have bids down here in front of that 6 even to get some out at 30 and then some out at 20, guys. My price, not even that great. It should be sitting there at like a 660 average price, but that's not what I got. My last entry was at that 47 mark. Well, just about 58, but last average is now at 647. That's working the money square back to 270. 271, so 272.50 is my line in the sand for square.
Okay, we're gonna take a little long here on Facebook because everything's coming right back for your boy. I mean, this is finally, thank God, this is happening for us. We did take some out on UAA, but we did, you know, it's a big average in here, so let's see if it goes, man. Now it's starting to go to the upside right here. Look at the market starting to battle back, so that's good. Our Wilhelmina coming back in now, so look at this short that we had there, man, 670. That was a decent short, so right now we have a decent price on it, so we're gonna go long with that one. Something just popped in for me there. Oh, Facebook, yes, we just got that, we just got that Facebook long on a dip. So 351.80, what am I price here? 351.84. So let's see if Facebook wants to get going to the upside. We do have this 350.50 bottom here that we're going to look at, maybe 350 even. We'll get out of that one if it does go. What's up, Brendo?
Another early mover, guys. Snowflake, 5%, was more than 5%, just broke 282 there. Big volume, guys. Couple of upgrades today for Snowflake.
Nice for them. We'll go with, I don't know, we'll drop this one. I mean, it's just looking rather nice right now. Somebody's coming into play. I did want to, we'll get to Virgin Galactic in a second because I know that's also moving, but I did pop my order in. Square's starting to come back up here, so I want to get to this one first. If it rolls over from 270, 250, I want to be looking to add to it. I'm sitting in front. I mean, you know, I'm not going to chase Square down here, guys. I mean, if it's a name I'm bullish on, it's a bigger cap name, I'm not going to start chasing it too far. Either I get my entry on a short for the reload or I don't, and that's the way I'm going to play Square. If it was a small cap, maybe we'd be more aggressive. I did get that quick scalp off the low of the day on take two, so I was able to get that dollar. Now I'm going to hold on the rest. You can see what happened after earnings. I'm going to have missed that breakdown trade or even the chance at anything at a better price. So we take it where we can. Sometimes you got to buy high, sell higher, short low, and then I guess buy back even lower. Sometimes it's just the way to play it, guys. Miss V is at the big screen. I think she's got a name for us here.
Hey Neil, a lot of traders in the chat talk about Xcella Technologies. Stock is up more than 8% and trading on a high volume today. Could you give us a quick review on Xcella?
So, oh yeah, I gotta say it. You're not tearing me apart, Zela or Zella. I mean, I don't know. What am I supposed to be calling
Hood?
it?
Oh no.
Anyways, it's up 12%. It's up 12%. It's back through $3. I know you guys were talking about this, but I mean, okay. I mean, maybe if it gets to like a 325 here. Oops, that's the wrong chart. I mean, maybe if it gets to like a 325, that's a decent spike. But I'm kind of looking, yeah, right back here. This is, yeah, that's right, like 325 right here. You've sort of been making this nice little round out. Probably needs to hold that. It has a chance, I think, maybe if it dips back down off at 325, that if you can hold like a 290 area, that would be okay. But until then, guys, I mean, I don't, the volume's okay. There's a heck of a lot moving more than Zila. I know it's great 11%, but we were shorting this one and trading it heavily at 4 to 5.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I just put in the chat. Holy crap, I have a lot of positions. But hey, when they're doing this, what about NEO, guys? What about this one? 61 cents now in the money, buying all the dips on NEO and loving life when we do that. Now you got 61, 70 cents now with the money on NEO, guys. 17 cents now in the money on UAA. But this needs to come back up a little bit. We've just limited the damage on this. This is not going to be, well, hopefully it'll be a profitable stock, but we need to get back to 22 for that to happen, as we have taken some out right there. Facebook, 70 cents in the money, so we'll hit the siren alert for that one. We'll probably wind up taking a bit off there, or taking it all out maybe on that one. Hood, what did I tell you guys about a 38.50? That's a chicken dinner winner, man. Spin it, chicken. Let's go, man. Look at this long on Hood, guys. 37.20, and we still have it. The only problem is we miss our 38 below, because when it breaks it just continues to go to the upside. So a big monster win here for Robinhood, guys. This is $1.25 right now on Robinhood. Let's get out of some of this Facebook now, as it just made that high, 352. If we can get out now in the 60s, we'll take it, guys. We'll take another $1 on this thing. Let's go, Facebook.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. One of the things that you got to do is A, not look a gift horse in the mouth. B, make sure you follow your rules. And I said, am I going to chase square to the downside? No, don't chase it. Don't chase it. Only take it where you want to get in. So I actually get in very tight to that stop. I just want, for perspective, I want to show you how far it moved yesterday. So I only take it right in front of that 272 stop. It breaks it. We end up losing the minimum on the re-entry, of course. If it goes back and now we can hold 270, I'm looking 270 to 270, 250. Those are the two price areas that we're going to like. Wilhelmina, because it just continues to be a bit of a gong show. It goes all the way down to 6 and bounces again. So we're about to test the high one more time on Wilhelmina. It is a gap up style play. So as I had been doing at the top, I will reload off the top. 685 is the current high that I'm looking at. I don't know if I want this thing getting past that 7 even area, but a couple of too many spikes while holding higher lows for now on Wilhelmina. That's the short that I think is giving me the most concern, obviously.
Yeah, I've actually been doing pretty good. I mean, I was able just to get out. I just tweeted out my 6 positions there that we've had. Yeah, Wilhelmina, look at this. Look what we just got, guys. We just got 606s down there. Literally a minute ago, we got 606s on that. So you got to put your bids out. Sometimes you get lucky to grab some of those. As right now, the market's starting to spit downside, right? That's why we should have, we talked about it, we just didn't do it, got out of that Facebook trade up here. So we do have an order backside. Let's see if it can continue to go upside. Right now, we can get that fill. I'll take that on Facebook if we can get it. What's up, Brendo?
Digital Ocean, guys. We mentioned this one yesterday. DOCN Citron came out with a positive note on DOCN yesterday. Had a big day after that. So we just got back to 59 on volume there for that one.
Oh, that's a bad trigger. 7 even just broke. I just got out of Wilhelmina. I'll flush that. Well, that's not a flush down toilet. That's the other one. Oh my goodness, what? It doesn't really matter, guys. 7 even just got taken out hard. It's about to halt to the upside. Is it going to halt? Is it going to halt? Is it going to halt? If it doesn't halt here at 708, I want to quickly reverse into a short trade. I'm trying to catch the long on the halt to see if I can get in and out very quickly. But I got out on that little break there at the high of the day. Pre-market high at 685. I want to see if I can actually, nope, couldn't get it.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't actually get there.
So I'm going to be stuck in this halt. I tried to get out as well, but we'll wait to see where we open up now. Probably much higher than where we are right now. So we'll watch on Wilhelmina right now. Looks like it's going. Looks like it's going to halt. It did halt.
It did halt
there. So now we'll wait to see here. Just to mark it down, I want to cancel some of my offers now because we'll see where it opens. Good thing we were able to get some out there, else this could have been hell of a lot more disastrous than it is right now. Facebook's still battling. Oh, Corsair. Okay, so Corsair there, we take the 50 short, then we take a 50 out a little bit. That's about 20%, as it was failing as the NASDAQ kept going. So we're still into Corsair now, and it's going to turn out to be a winner if it ever breaks this 40 level to the downside. And we do have some bids here, 26.26. So if it breaks that 40, we'll get out. Hopefully it comes crashing. It just needs to break that 40. It keeps resisting it. There's like an iceberg order, and what an iceberg order means is you're going to see like a small amount of shares there, but it just keeps on filling, whether or not it's a dark pool or something like that. You could see it just bounced off 50 there. So that's why, or sorry, 40. How many times have we seen that here? It just, 40's held a couple times on Corsair. So be very, very weary of that. I do want to get out if that does, cause some issues there. If it doesn't break 40, then we're going to have to get out. It looks like we might have just been stuck on that one. Robinhood, man, continues to go. I just wish I would have got that 38 break like we called, but a good little trade here on Robinhood as that continues to go to the upside. UAA, I mean, it's right back down. I may average into this, but
look at 21. Look at the 21 level from yesterday on Under Armour. This looks good.
I know this looks good, so I'm already in this name. We'll see what happens now. Might take a little bit more, but again, that 20 level, if it breaks, we're going to be out. 21, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just dipped into that one into the long side, liking that 21 level. But then I got to go back to take two. Now I'm gonna, of course, when Wilhelm opens up, I'm gonna be looking. Wilhelmina opens up. I'm gonna be all over looking at that one off that 7 even break. Some levels to watch out for, and we'll get to it when it does open. It's not there yet, guys. But take two. It does make that move off of 160 one time. It's trying to pull back in. I can zoom back in for you guys, but just bounced off of VWAP. I'm holding for a break of the low. If it takes out 158, I'm shooting 155 on this. It's already down 8%. I do think if you just talk about straight 10% move, that's 156. So if it bounces there, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm shooting 155 on the rest of these shares here. It holding VWAP, at least there, seems like a bit of a weak move. I'm going to get my bid in just so we're locked and loaded and ready to go. HJLI. Continues its run to the downside. I did miss this shot just now. Obviously, it's going to happen. I went over to you, Under Armour. I kind of like that level off 21, but I missed a shot off VWAP here to add to the position. I'll get some more shares out if it stalls at 775 one more time. This one has been relatively safe to the weak side, but you look at these names, and at any moment, one of these could do like a Wilhelmina, where it just pops to the upside and halts on you. So got to have the level 2 open, got to be ready to react. Certainly am willing to do so on HJLI if I have to, but for now, sitting comfortably in the money.
Guys, look at, you want to talk about sitting comfortably, look at Robinhood, guys. And again, if you're not on here, like this is what I mean, it's right at the bottom. It's a sticky note, it's hood, go long through 38. We're able to get the dip buy. We missed the 38 because it just explodes. Like again, I only crossed up 5 pennies. I got to cross up a bit more than that, guys, if it's going to go. But there it is. Wow, wow, wow. Robinhood is in the building. I mean, I want to short this name, but wow, what a move to the upside right there. I don't know. Let's just wait to see how far we go. We have already identified that 40 level from the IPO, so 39.50 is not horrible. You could see, whoa, that's Robinhood 3-minute chart. Wow, absolutely parabolic. Bottom Wickens there. Shout out to Mike who got that one, who apparently coined that. The Robinhood only got as high as 37, 38. I mean, on IPO day, I thought it got higher than this, but we'll wait to see now where it's going.
20.
I guess it IPO'd at 35 or 36 there.
It broke 40 for a little.
I thought so. I don't know what's going on, but right now that's showing the highest day. So right here, we'll see what Robinhood's doing right now, up to 40 bucks. What a great trade that is, man. This is a $2.50 winner. That's what you're going to do. You're going to see the cowbells coming through on this one. That is Robinhood. What's up, Bren?
A bit of a choppy one so far today, guys, but Zoom info we mentioned in the pre-market briefly. Another volume alert there as it tried to get back above 62. We got up to 63.5, we'll call it, for ZI, though. Decent move so far.
Yeah, big move for Zoom info. Yeah, I'm looking at Hood because obviously I was sitting, wanted to sit in front of that 40 level. This is it's 40.25 is what I'm looking at. There's no levels above that price, guys. If it gets there, it's going to be kaputs. I think you got to take a breakout at 40.25 or at least get out of shorts, which is what I will do. I'm not in it yet. I want to be very, very patient with it. Of course, you're seeing it move, not parabolically, but at least somewhat close to parabolic, as it will get here about 5% to the upside. 5% round number, 40 even, 40.25 are the two levels I'm looking at here. Short in front of 40, but I will have to give it to that 40.25, which is, I mean, it's saying all-time high, but it hasn't really been trading too long. Wilhelmina just opened back up, so got to go over to that one very, very quickly. Opening stronger, at least for now, holding that 7 even area. I'll show you guys on this chart. If it gets back below that 7 and can hold below it, that'd be like a quick little reversal for me here, but I want to see it hold below that whole price, which was 705, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I was able to get out a little bit there on that. Again, I don't want to hold it for too long. We're not going to let our day get ruined by a stock that we don't even know. So Wilhelmina right now starting to go back to the upside. We'll see if it can hold. What was that high there? 730, 740. You're probably going to take that out. So we'll have to wait on that one now, as that's getting a little nasty there. Okay, so you see look at this market. Tick, 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 boom. Like, what a move to the downside there for the NASDAQ. Like, what the hell just happened there? Almost like there was some sort of a release that came out there, but wait to the downside. And then thank God, I mean, this is why, like, we talk about counting your chickens before they hatch, but look at this Neo trade right here. Like, we're out 20, 40, 60, 80%, like all out here right around this VWAP. So now we don't have to worry when it does come back down, but I am a little bit worried if we break through 44.50. So I'm going to get out if it does break back down below. I mean, look, we're along at 69s. We've already cashed in here 90s, 99s, 15s. 11s, right? So we could take a 10 cent hit here. Sorry, what am I long at? 70. So we could take a 20 cent hit here, no problem. That would just be like taking off that. So that's why I like to scalp some out. So those of you that always ask, why do I keep getting some out? This is why. I've seen this game too many times before. So here comes Neil cracking. Look at this market, man. Crack, crack. City, what's up, Brendo?
Another one straight southbound, guys. We talked about the fact that there was absolutely no reaction to the earnings for Nikola. And yeah, Flush City, 11.50 in the pre-market there. We're down to 10.50, 10.60 for Nikola.
That's the thing it does. I just try to shot at Wilhelmina off that reopen trade, but I got to go tight stop because it's going back to the upside. But I also get out of Under Armour, so win one, lose one. It's coming back into VWAP. You're going to get this sell-off, somewhat sell-off, and I will definitely take some out in front of VWAP if it gets to the rest of it out in front of VWAP if it gets to that 21.75. I mean, that 21 level just look entirely too juicy here if you go all the way back. I mean, look at the level of support that 21 had. Break, hold, close, hold, and then you're going to sell off on a great number. Give me a break. Right? It has to be a hold at that point. So nice little scalp trade there. But take two. This was, of course, the gaming play has been to the south side. It is now broken at 158. It continues deep in the money. It's not short sell restricted yet, but it's getting very close to that 10% mark, which would be at about that 156 mark. So still looking southbound on take two for me, and I'll get back to Wilhelmina. I never got into, I didn't take hood on that initial spike. I wanted to make sure we got closer to that 40 level. It just touched 40. I got 88s to the short side here. I'm not using 40 as an out. I want 40.25, if only because that's the all-time high. I guess I can say that, all-time high on Robinhood.
Yep, good call there. We did get out there. We cashed out. This is going to be a big trade for us. 37.21 up to 36.59 there, and then the short back in. We talked about that 40 level, so that's a great look there for sure on that short. Needless to say, so good look there. Yeah, Wilhelm. We're going to take one more time here. The top has been 750. Looks like it's going to break. We'll try one more short into this name. Here it goes. It's going to break out through this, and then we'll get out. Obviously, a low cap name there, low float name. We tried it. We were able to cash in a little bit, like short, cash out right here. Like, I don't know why we didn't get them all out, like at $6, like when we were short here. So, I mean, we started there, which is a little bit below, but then, we're able to cash out, and these were all profitable trades. So, when you do hold on for a little bit too long, this is what, can happen. So, yeah, yuck, not good right there on Wilhelmina, but we'll see if it can come to the downside. I mean, we're short 669, so we'll see. I mean, it's not going to be a big hit either way. One name, I was looking to re-up, put some more money into the RSPs very, very soon. And I don't know, my kids are costing me a lot of money with Roblox. So look at this, straight to the downside now, 74.75. I know this is like an ARC name as well, so we'll have to find out what exactly is happening with it. But here's the daily chart on Roblox, coming down from 100, like straight down, basically. The 100 was, I mean, those are often, look, when you get to 100, 100 is going to be, pretty glued to a level, right? And so it did have some problems up there at 100. So I think we can learn our lesson. If we can get Roblox back into the mid 60s here, I think that's a decent buy. But again, with the reopening and with a lot of stuff happening now
that's at 70.
In that space, are they going to get a little bit of headwinds here with kids going back to school? I don't know too many adults that are sitting there playing Roblox. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a kid's name and game. So as far as I know anyways, but developers crazy. My kid's already developing his own game on Roblox, by the way. What's up, Brendo?
Heads up to semiconductor traders. If you're looking at the group, nice one here. ON once again today. Remember yesterday earnings in the pre-market popped up here, 2.6% again today. We're back to 45, which was the line in the sand yesterday for ON.
And we will, I'm supposed to hit Brendan the GOAT. I should have, whatever. Brendan, it is the GOAT, but I mean, every time he comes in, we seem to get a winning trade here. But HJLI just popped back down to that 775. I said if it came there again, I would take some off. So that's what we kind of did here. Robinhood on the reversal. And this is one of those things where if you saw yesterday what happened to me in Square, I'm like, the fact that Square is not even a great trade. I'm basically going to be close to flat on the stock. But at the end of the day, it was following the rules at work. And then the same thing in Robinhood. I want to be short this name, and I can't find myself into some longs. But I just waited for the actual level to short. I mean, 38 had already been tested, so there's no point going there. And the only other level to look at was that 40 and then 40.25. So good on Sean for having that breakout. I wish I had sometimes when you have a bias in the stock, it takes you out of some obvious trades, and you want to be able to have those. But clearly a good buy, and then also a good short opportunity. Lots of ways you can play this market, whether you're a bull or a me riding a bear, I would never actually ride a bear. That's literally like, it's crazy and it's stupid. And
I would fight one.
There was a bear at oh my gosh, my in-laws had a bear in vast amounts of land in front of out in Aurelia. I'm like, yeah, that's like, no, I don't care what kind of bear it is, whether it's small or whether it's like tame, like, I don't know, brown bear. I have no idea which ones are okay and which ones aren't. As far as I'm concerned, I'm scared of all of them, so who cares?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna fight a bear like Khabib there did.
Yeah,
okay, guys. So Corsair.
free.
No, I'm not gonna fight a bear. But my favorite animal, polar bear, actually. So there you go. If anybody tries to ask you, oh, hi, I'm Sean. I want Bitcoin. What's my favorite animal? But no, it's polar bear. Do not. Oh, by the way, do not. So we did have. I'll put this upside as well. If anybody, and I'm only doing this, guys. So it's not to get followers. We have through 3,300 already, but there you go. This is Van Gogh exhibit, was pretty cool. But if you are following any of us, I'm the only one with an Instagram account. So if there's any other accounts set up, stay as far away as possible from that if you can. And also our Twitter accounts, they're all official. They're on our websites at Sean and Brendan and Neil, at Trader TV, Sean, Brendan, and Neil. Make sure that that's right with the right spelling. Corsair does get a nice little win, so we'll hit the siren alert. We're still holding a small piece, but we did empty some out there on Corsair, so that has a good possibility of now, just bouncing around. We'll watch that 27 level, but a good take there on Corsair when the NASDAQ dipped down, so that was good. I do want to give a big shout out to everybody that was telling me about Roblox. I forgot when I was doing that analysis, and you guys are 100% right. Thanks for bringing it up. That Roblox, of course, today a gaming stock, so they're going to be falling down with that Chinese news. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is this a good opportunity once again? I mean, it kind of fits with what we're talking about here on this. So cute, this elephant there. So we'll forget about it. Let's go back over here to our poll today. Are we nibbling on some of these Chinese names or not, man? 600 votes right now. And this is not a video game thing. Roblox, I don't consider a Chinese name, obviously. I mean, I don't even have it listed here, but you're going to look. Small, yes. Big, no. No, still winning the day. So small, yes, starting to pick up just a little bit there. So you can head over to my account to see that if you want to participate. But other than that, man, I mean, right now, nice little move upside here. Finally, UAA starting to pay off. We did have that 20 fill, bang, bang, bang. Nice little winner to the upside here for UAA. So really happy with the way that's starting to pair off. We'll see if it can go upside now. I mean, look at the NASDAQ, man, just continuing to puke down. So a little bit of a trouble here on the NQs today as we just turned red and hard time. What a big move. We talked about this move. We said this was a big move in the pre-market. Nada. Look at that move right there, just as the market opens up, and then bang, right to the downside, down to 14.9. So time to maybe pick up some of these high growth names if you believe the NASDAQ is down a little bit too much. I'm going to try to settle this and try to find some shorts.
And Robin Hood robbed from the rich to feed the poor. I mean, I don't know, like it's whatever. It's going to be the perfect trade today. It should probably be like, I always keep talking about we should do like a 2-for-1 here, but there was that top level, there was the breakout. All the way you can play this in either direction. 40.25 was that high. It actually does hold 40, by the way, so 39.99. It didn't even need to test the actual all-time high, but right back into VWAP. I'm not taking it to 38, right back into VWAP on a quick little short. I always get the first out on a scalp and then wait for that level above that VWAP price. It's going to be some out in front of 39, some on the other end of it at 38.90. Either way, you get almost a buck on the last third of that trade. I still have that HJLI though, guys, and this is, I mean, the whipsaw action on some of these names. Like this is an $8 stock. It's basically popping like 10, 15 cents at a time. And liquidity is not exactly where I would have expected it to be on a stock doing 20 million shares, right? So you're looking at these levels, and it's just like sometimes you're getting a 4 or 5 cent spread. I want this thing to calm down before I average back into this to get those shorts. But watch out, Wilhelmina has not found a top yet. It's testing the highs again. Maybe $8 will be the level, but you guys are going to Brennan. It's 10 o'clock happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's have a look at how things are shaping up so far. Still pretty red right across this board. It is the NASDAQ here leading the way, both the composite and 100, 0.3, 0.24 to the downside. Small caps as well, 0.65 to the downside. Under pressure, the S&P and the Dow went red there as we were talking ahead of the open. So back into negative territory. The TSX here in Toronto open again today, 0.1 to the upside so far for the TSX after the holiday on Monday. A couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. Alibaba follow through, guys, to the downside. 200 ends up being the top, right down to 192. The other I mean, decent one that we mentioned, Take-Two Interactive. Yeah, I mean, no buying at all at the open there. It was just a straight flush from 166 to 158, guys, for TTWO.
Sort of kicking myself over this one because there was another deal news here, and it was HOLI, a bit of a bidding war going on. They had a $17.10 cash offer, and then they came through and they're discussing a $23 bid. Yeah, I need a chance to pick this one up in the pre-market, and I got distracted looking at TBI and all the names we had here today off 19. If you're watching this, I do think that it actually traded. If you look at it before, it was sort of trading well below that 17.10 price anyways, and I would expect the same thing to happen at that 23. So I'm not sure how much more runway this has. If you're looking at this gapper, that's the news. It's a bit of a bidding war going on. I forget the two firms. Apologies for that. But the 17.10 was the original bid. 23 cash, I believe, is the second one they're going to be considering. I would expect it's going to trade probably at least maybe like a 7 or 8% below that 23 mark. Makes a little bit of sense. So might not have too much more runway in HOLI if you happen to be looking.
Yeah, just messaging here to find out what's going on. Okay, so we actually get taken out some there on our Wilhelmina. We still have a small piece there, but it goes up to 770. We wanted to take out a 660 break. We get out, and then it just flushes all the way down. So this is part of the risk that you have there. I tried to go more short, which is what I was trying to find out there. But it looks like there's some shares. There's just not a lot of shares. So we'll have to wait to see what's happening right now with WHLM to the downside right now. So we still have some, but we don't have as much. Tried to reload it, but unable to there. So maybe shares becoming a little more scarce there on that one. 60 cents now. I mean, look at UAA. At least that's a slap shot winner for us today as that's starting to go. So UAA is starting to make a little bit of money on that name. So that's going to be a good one. NEO, we did get out there on that break. Unfortunately, that's going to look like a bottom Wickens break as well right there. Corsair back and forth and around a little bit, up and down. It's going to be it's going to be a negative stock, but still flat. They're not really doing too much. It was a little disappointing with that earnings report for Corsair. But other than that, man, I mean, we're just looking to get into something else. Rocket, we saw that big news yesterday that they're going to become getting into the solar game. Thought that was good news, right? But we were unable to sort of identify that. So straight down. I guess they didn't do a very good job of selling that idea. Apparently it's like financing into solar and stuff like that. I thought it made a lot of sense, but yeah, not really, I guess. Down to 17 in rocket companies. That's the 3 minutes, so that's not going to work. Let's go over to the daily quickly here. We're still right back down to these lows, right? So if you do like this company, I'm already invested in this for the long haul. We got that special dividend of $1 before, so that was pretty good at least. But right now, rocket companies coming right. This is formerly Quicken Loans, right? So I don't know what they're doing. But right now, UAA, a big successful trade for us today on this name, as we did buy some bottoms, buy these dips, and UAA now right back to where we first started. So a good little report there today. It's on our stock list, and nice move upside for Under Armour.
And continuing to southbound is going to be Take-Two. So I'm still hanging on to this one. We're going to go with our target. No reason to get out of it just yet. It's trying to take out 157.40. Of course, remember they had earnings. This is not just all about the gaming sector being down. They had earnings, and they're getting close to that 10% marker. Not quite there yet. I might have missed my shot at Wilhelmina. I kind of just said like maybe $8. It didn't come close. I've only been short the stock. It was great in the pre-market, and it was a good rollover here at 9 even. And gave you some shots here after 9:30 in front of 660. Last two trades going to be losers for me in Wilhelmina to that downside. I did get out of Under Armour. Just to quickly go back to it, I got out at VWAP. Now it's actually making a test here of this like 9:30 rollover price. This is at 22.20, so that's $1 off that 21 level. This would be a good hold if it can get up there. I'm not playing the short side of the trade, but if it does reverse, I would go back into the long in front of 21. That looks like a fantastic level from yesterday, guys, so I would definitely be playing that one again. And then just to come back to Robinhood, I do kind of feel like I want to play this a second time up here, but I was kind of holding out for 39.75 to 39.80, thinking it would spike just a little bit higher, just a better short in front of 40, which I think I can play twice. I can play 40, and then you can play 40.25. First time through, I kind of wanted to take one shot in, one shot out, but I think now that it's up at that top, holding VWAP, you got to get a little bit more careful, tighter stop, maybe take a couple of shots at it instead of just the one and done. Don't want to give away the profits you make in something like this. You never went broke taking profit, and at the end of the day, you don't have to overtrade either. That's a good way to go broke.
I know that was a tough trade there, at least the close of it on Square. Because,
at least I didn't dig myself into a hole, but that I should have found a way to get back in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like Square now all the way back down, man. And Neil had a winner there. And this is the thing, big move up like to 275, and then when the NASDAQ started puking, this just kept going down to the downside. So, yeah, Square, wow, what a head fake on that one. Now down that 2+%. So we can look. I mean, if you go back to yesterday here, this is a 3-minute chart. This is sort of where we really, the first kind of stop spot was right in here, man, 265. What is that? 264.60, something like that. So, again, I don't know if is the NASDAQ really going to bounce here, guys? I don't know. We're still making lows right now in the NASDAQ, and I'm not talking about the retailer lows. As you're continuing with this 263, I don't know where this is going to stop. I'm really actually surprised on this move. It's a nice little move to the downside as we zoom in here. Just, wicked it out there. I'm not in, but out 275 a couple times. You could have had that, and then just straight to the downside. As this is starting to escalate a little bit further, we did dump on that. On that note, we were dumping some UAA, but that appears to want to go to the upside. So a big win today for me on Hood, a big win on NEO, a big win on UAA, a flat trade on Corsair, and then Facebook down to 348. We tested a couple longs, never got us in. We weren't going to take a 353 off the open, so it didn't even happen. So we're going to wait for that. But now to the downside, I guess it did break 353 a little bit there, some nice little levels, but we were always getting out at 350. So breaks 350 and we gone right now to the downside. I can't even buy these bottoms, guys. The NASDAQ's not stopping. What's up, Brendo?
Another mRNA company, ARCT, running here, guys. We've already gone 38 here in the pre-market to 48 at the top there. It's up 34%. So we talked about that Sanofi deal, buying that other Translate Bio. It's an mRNA company. So it looks like this is a little bit of sympathy. ARCT getting a boost as well. They did get another approval, it looks like from Singapore for one of their treatments, but mostly off of the TBIO deal, guys.
Yeah, Virgin Galactic just broke that 30 level. I just got into position, so new position alert for me. I got 92s to the south side here. Look, I'll give this one a little bit of room here. They report, I want to say, what day is today? Today's Tuesday, right? So they report on Thursday. I believe it's aftermarket, so watch out for that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they don't have much to tell you about. But they could give updates in terms of some of their timelines. They could give updates on how they're doing with maintenance and then going back up and down faster. Of course, the big catalyst and spike for these guys was the launch. But if it's breaking back below that, I'm no longer even considering that 27.50 level, which was the only price I'd ever been buying. Now, if it breaks this, I'm looking back into the teens and 20s, probably starting at a 23 or 24 before I would dip into it. If they somehow have something that blows you out of the water and you hold 27.50, I'd rather be paying up than down in this price range, guys. But for today, I'm obviously taking the 30 short break. You see this market heading to the south side and got to be able to play it here. Robin Hood, what? Did I get that? Oh my goodness, did I mess this up on Robin Hood? I think I did. Neil, what did you do? Oh goodness, Neil. Sometimes be aggressive is the way to go. I was sitting there at 39.80 for this rollover. It's right back to VWAP. I could have rinsed and repeated that trade, but I should have hit the bid instead of sitting on the offer. I know I say that a lot, but I feel like if I don't yell at myself for missing out on that opportunity, then I'm not going to correct that mistake. I get passive too often because it's a habit when I spread trade to just sit on the offer, hit offer and enter when I like a price range, and of course it just immediately dipped off of that price. I could have chased it 5 pennies, 4 pennies, and been short here and then out at VWAP one more time. Either way, it's been a good setup on Robinhood. If it holds VWAP again, at that point you got to start thinking about, if it takes out that 40.25, do I even want it a third time? I didn't get it the second time, but to me, that's the third time if it gets up here, whether I had the trade or not. So watch out if this thing gets back to that 40.25 breakout, could be in the cards.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the market continuing to go. Look, AMD's right at that bouncing spot again. So we got more Wilhelm here, so we'll wait to see where that's going to go. AMD right now bouncing off that level that we liked, man, 107.05, 107.50, sorry. A nice bounce spot there. So, wow, can't believe that's actually happening right there. So a nice bounce, good call. We got as high as yesterday's high again, man, 110. Wow, AMD went to 110.50, guys. We're hitting the siren and raining down the cash on our long-term portfolio right now with AMD. We've already emptied out a little bit on that, but that was a good little bid there at 107.50. We didn't catch it. We should have been sitting there somewhere, and then we were looking for a break down through it. But if the NASDAQ bounces back, this is going to be a good long, man. So maybe we've got to try to catch AMD long here now and use that 107.50 as our out. But who knows? It looks like it did try to resist a bit there, but yeah, 107.50 on AMD. That's back-to-back days there. We'll see if it can hold one more time. Maybe we'll try a long and then use this bottom, maybe 107.20. Who knows? But AMD resisting that. What's up, Brendo?
Another Chinese name, guys, just popping up here. DD Global back to the downside. It flushed through 10 on the open, trying to consolidate back below 10. But remember, this had 1, 2, 3, 4 days to the upside. So possibly rolling over again for DD.
Yeah, just looking at some of these stronger names. Moderna holding on to its gains. It's at that 350 mark. It's double top 355. So if the market bounces from here, just kind of look where the relative strength has been today. I know they obviously had the news. Micron dividend for the first time ever, but they're basically flat on the session. 10-cent dividend I think they announced there. I'm just looking at NIO as well. We can get to Tesla in a quick little second, but NIO just bounced off of 44. I see you guys in the chat saying, oh, give me a break. It looks like my daily chart might have frozen on me there. My 15-minute, yeah. I'm doing a lot of flipping back and forth. What happens when the market comes down like this is anything and everything that I think might be at a level, or at least close to it, that I like a bounce on. And then NIO, this is what I'm sort of getting at. This 44 level on NIO, you go right back into this like a higher low that it put in, and then support from yesterday right in the morning. This looks like a decent bounce spot. And it's already bounced once in NIO off of 44, so you want to see some consolidation. But this market has to start holding up here before digging in too deep on some of these names. But file that one away. Mr. Robinhood short, if it comes up there again, I'd probably only go small in front of that 40 and 40.25, guys. And take two. I would have liked to see this fall through a little bit faster, just given how far the market, I mean, the market's down 0.5% now and crashing, and take two seems like it's slowing down on me here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and say I don't want this thing, I don't want to look that gift horse in the mouth too much. It is giving me that nice profit. The market is helping me out on the move, but it's almost down 10% and stalling with the market crashing. And look how much it's not really going down. So I can take out about $3 winner here if it gets down to that 157, and I'll probably just go ahead and do that, guys. It just makes a lot of sense here. My gut is telling me to find some bottoms to pick, and there's other names to be able to be on the short side of for sure, outside of Take Two, which got most of its beat up on the open, and I didn't get that trade.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so we'll just go a little face slap there as look what AMD just did when we just bought it. We bought that bottom, and then now we're 50 cents in the money. So instantly upside right there. We did take out a third already on AMD. We'll see if we can get up to 108, 108.60 or so. But I am nervous that this NASDAQ doesn't want to participate here. So we do have this long. We did cash out a little bit there. We are long 107.94. It did go up in the money. We did take a piece out there for 27 cents at 21. Now it's at 35, 36, 37. So a nice little 40-cent win here for AMD, making that money and making it back. And here we go, man. I can't believe we got some out there. We were able to get back in a little bit as now this is starting to die a little bit here. WHLM bids in the 60s around here. We'll see if we can get that out right now. This is a 30-cent win. Making some money back on this name. So there it is. Yeah, Brent, you're right on the chat there. Here we go, Wilhelmina. So we were able to get a little bit more short. We were talking about that. But yeah, unfortunately, we literally have the high. So from going from buying some of these lows here to basically buying the high. So this is what happens on these names, man. It's just crazy time going back and forth on these names. You never know where it's going to go. UAA, still watching this. This is my #1 stock today. So we liked the quarter. We talked about retail and how strong that was. So that was good. I'm debating just honestly just getting out of this AMD here as we go because it doesn't really look like it wants to do much. AMD, it did go high there into the 30s, and now it's coming back down. I'm very, very nervous about this guy right here. The NASDAQ tried to go again, stopped. So, hey, if this goes back to the downside, then we will get taken out of AMD. But right now, we'll sit on it as a little bit of a winner now. 40 cents in the money, but I would like to get it at 108.50 for one more piece and then hold for that dream in case the market does come back of a 110 again, and we'll see if we can't take $3 on this one.
Yeah, and just looking back to some of these other names that are starting to move. Obviously, we know all about Nikola, guys. They had, of course, their earnings. It came to the downside, but there was this volume spike, and look at the bottom that Nikola just made here on volume. It spiked to 1050, then snapped right back in. I know the market's downside, but it's trying to make a bit of a turn. I mean, I'm not usually someone to go into a long trade in Nikola, but if I see that little bit of a setup there, if it can now hold like this 1050 higher low, I'm not sure I want to give it to the low of the day. I mean, well, sorry, this low of the day here. I'm talking about the previous low, that 1050. If it can hold that, I think the risk reward's really not that bad here. So I don't usually do it, but count me into Nikola here. But I'll risk only about 15 about 15 to 20 cents or so in front of that 1050. Here comes $40 on Robinhood, big offer, but I'm not going into the short there as I just got into Nicola. But you guys are going over to Brendan. What you got, bud?
Pretty good quarter for BP, guys, up 5.4%, pushing back towards the middle of the pre-market range. They increased their dividend. They increased their buyback program after profit was much higher than expected for BP.
Yeah, I mean, oil today down 1.66%. So a good little look there for BP. I am an XOM shorter. You guys know that. We've talked about that over and over again. We could check back on XOM. I'm trying not to look at it. Okay, yes, sir. XOM, nice move to the downside here. Obviously, it did made that huge move yesterday off open to 58.59. It does make that downward press to 57. So hopefully XOM wants to continue its move to the downside. Things are starting to work now, man. There goes Under Armour. So a nice little move. Now $1 in the money on this name. Good trade here. All of these are averages in. However, they weren't bad because we're able to get our early position out there. Then we defended 22, and then we talked about defending this 21 level. So we're able to average in all the way down. It's going to seem like this is not. It seems like a lot because I don't normally average in, but like. It's not that bad of an average in here because we did have our out. And again, $1 worth of risk. Come on, man, we're here to make some money, so let's see if we can do that. Wilhelm, whatever, this was a short, then it was a long, and then we got stopped out there on that short, and now we're just bouncing around. It looks like it bounced off VWAP there, 687, so maybe we should have took 50 cents. I'm going to put a bid now around here to see if we could take 50 cents, and then we'll let it drop down. We'll see if it wants to continue its move to the downside, but right now it looks like it's picking up steam again. Like if it wanted to fall there, I felt like it should have, so which is why we had a 60 bid, so we can always wait for that one, but right now, Wilhelmina looks like it wants to come to the upside. I'm going to put a bid here around 685 or so.
So I saw a question, Steve G. Can you translate what that means to price? I just put it in the chat because Robinhood went to that 40 level, and then there was like 300. I saw 300,000 shares on the offer there. There was a single gateway, and I'll have to zoom down here. You can't really see it now, but like trust me, there was about 300,000 shares on the offer sitting at that 40 level. Now remember, it is a 40.25 top. On Robinhood there that we were talking about before. But, I mean, I had a chance to be able to get in there at 96 in front of that offer and then scalp it out. You've seen that trade before. This is vastly different from just shorting it in front when it made the parabolic move up back into VWAP and it gave it to you again. This is short off of that level. It's now 200,000 on NASDAQ. I can't really see deeper in the book. It was just there, but 200,000 on NASDAQ, so the offer is smaller. I'm just short in front of that offer. If it breaks, I'm gone, and I'm looking to 40.25. That was the other level top side there, guys. So watch out for Robinhood. There you can now see it, 210,000 shares on the NASDAQ book. Nothing else, though. So if it breaks that, 40.25 is that high that we're looking at, and that's that all-time high, guys. I do have a bit of get out here, but if it breaks 40, I am gonzo out of this trade.
Yeah, and I just put in the chat, guys, I hope you guys are all hit that off the 38 long. That was the big one here. And if you're joining us for the first time, please follow on Twitter because every single day it's a very, very popular post. It's the sticky note. And today we talked about it right here. Don't mind the long through 38. So there it goes, man. And nothing but love to the upside for you, Hood, right there. And then we did get long. See, AMD short, right? Might have to give some back. But that 107.50, we turned that frown around when we saw that and then use that as our long spot. And guess what we're doing now? Hell yeah. So here we go, man. It's coming up. We'll do a big bang for AMD as that one going nicely in the money now, $1 straight to the upside for AMD. So, hey, let's keep the party going now. Let's go. Let's see if that can go up. UAA, $1 in the money. Wilhelmina smoking on something to the downside. We'll see where that goes. But right now it's Brendan at the big screen with his short stock or small cap recap. That's what it is. Always shorts with Brendan. So take it over, Brendo.
Yeah, busy morning, guys. Let's go small cap time. It has been one of those days where less is more, but there are some moves to talk about. HJLI, we said, kind of popped up a little bit later on in the morning, or pre-market, I should say. I was talking about 850. It did test that right at the open, immediately fails. It has been pretty much back and forth, kind of 760 to 850. So stuck in a range right now. This one still has lots of room to go to the downside if it wants to. Remember, above that, it has a lot of room, all the way up to 10 if it wants to go there. Let's talk about auto, another little one that was up Aftermarket yesterday, again, pre-market this morning, volume already dying off, so this is a bit of a problem right now. 375, 390 resistance in the pre-market there. It's just kind of grinding to the downside. Not terribly exciting for AUTO. And this is that outlook, OTLK. I was just looking at 320 and then 335, 340 was the top end of the range from the pre-market. Same story, volume a problem here. We're kind of struggling at 3. Doesn't really know whether it wants to stay above or stay below. It needs to stay below if we're going to get lower. But OTLK, another one moving today. Guys.
Robinhood just broke that level hard, guys. I'm talking about like no chance to even get out. Like your stops, if you had a 41 trigger, I mean that 41 just got chewed up. You can see I got out first like at that 40-50 area and then still had a little bit left over. Remember what the reference price, the original IPO range was 38 to 42. I didn't think 42 would come into play, guys, but it looks like 42 is very close to coming into play. I thought for a second that they might halt, but then I remembered 40 would have to go 10% into 44. So there's almost no chance it's going to halt up here, but you got to widen your stops on that one. That was a jailbreak when that level broke. I mean, a lot of people hammered that one. Remember we said it was free shorts today, so everyone and their mother could play the shorts? That's what they did. Now you're looking at the only other level, which is obviously going to be 42s. I just dipped in when it's so down here at 41.50, guys, and let's see what happens. I'm going to have to scalp some of this off on the way back down, but 42, that's kind of a line in the sand. I still don't like this company long term. We'll short that pop to give it back. If it comes back, forget about 40. I'd be talking 40.50. That's where it snapped up. All that buying went straight to 40.50. So any pullback, to me, 40.50 is your price.
And guys, honestly, that's why, like, if you're going to see Neil trading the short, it was great. I mean, he made that money initially, but that's why, honestly, man, like, that's why I stayed away from it. I mean, I got caught in Wilhelmina on a bad trade there, and that's why I stayed away from this one. I just feel, you know, again, like we got out at 40 there. It's still a great trade. But, I mean, I called this 38 long. I just wish we still would have had a little more shares on board even now as that continues to go, because you got to be very, very careful with some of these names, as it may halt, which would be kind of funny if it does. Robinhood halting. And although Neil mentioned he likes it for the long term, for me, it's going to be a pass.
I said I don't like it for the long term.
Oh, don't like. Okay, good.
Oh, God,
good.
no.
Okay, good.
Okay, that's a little bit harsh. Maybe it was a bit harsh. Sorry.
It's not that harsh. Yeah, I don't really like it for the long term either, but nice little move up to the upside right now. And you could see, guys, definitely paying off a little bit here if you were long. And that's why we talked about it on the sticky note, why we liked it, man. We liked Robinhood long through 38. I mean, it was pushing. It doesn't get any easier of a trade. I miss the 38 long, so thank God we had that one. But it was just pushing all yesterday at 38. So I just thought with a little bit of momentum today, you could get that move. And it looks like that did come through. So again, man, congratulations to anybody that hit that. I did, but just not enough. And that's always the story there. We missed the 38 break, but we do have the 37 bottom. I wish I had this on for you. I still think it could be trade of the day, but a nice move for Robinhood right to the upside. Should have had more on board, though. Let's see where we go from here. Nice trade on Robinhood. And then look what's happening to AMD, guys. Spin it! Money. I mean, hello, $1.30 now in the money. And again, we just tweeted this out again here on this, right? And again, like here it is right here. We waited for that 107 level on AMD and used it for the long, right? So we put it on here. AMD might short, right? We might take that short. But when we saw it open AMD today, it just was so damn strong. Why would we ever play that as a short? We were looking at that level, and then when it came back down, we were like, we're going to take that long and then test it off 107.50. We know, and I talked about it, if the market rebounds, we'll hold out for that miracle 110 print. Well, it's not so much of a miracle when it's about to happen. So a good call there. Let's put an offer here at 110, see if we can't cash out on AMD, and then be pretty happy with this trade moving forward. So a big trade here for me on AMD. Good. We're still holding Wilhelmina now, and then we do have UAA still $1 in the money. So all things good, guys.
Yeah, and we'll flush down the toilet. I mean, I've been basically using that 42 level, 41.50 short. We scalped them out down. Best price 41.20s. It then pops up to 41.85. Get that short. Then get some out in the 40 range with 35 to 40 cent scalps. It pops up again. We offer at 41.70. We grab that short as well. So every single time, no matter what, if it breaks that 42, which is the top end, remember that IPO range, 38 to 42, I'll be out of it. But this is how we get some of that back here. The Virgin Galactic short, I mean, it's still at $30. So the market bounces back that far. In Virgin Galactic, I short 29.91. That thing's at 30.05. It kind of feels like that could get pretty ugly. If this market rolls back over and we're still on the lows in Virgin Galactic, I'd watch out there. But Robinhood, I've been scalping every single time. I'll take more shares at 41.40. I'll take more shares out in front of 41. If this rolls back through 41, even as I said, look to 40.50 is the absolute best I would hold on to this one too, just because of the way that price action went on the 40 break. I kind of feel like it'll be bought at that 40.50 mark. Call it a gut reaction, but 42 is my stop, guys. And this time, my stop will hit, I promise you, using the better of our two stops. You can see that one actually sitting here, very, very aggressive order through if we break 42.
Okay, so we do have, I mean, just to update you guys, because we're still on this Wilhelmina here, and it's just, I mean, I have the bid down there, 680. So if that can happen, great. AMD still going, Robinhood still going. Alibaba, I mean, we can take a quick, let's look at NEO actually quickly here, because we did get into NEO early, and it was a good trade for us. We're actually going to be, I mean, today we're actually doing pretty good. We made a keystroke earlier, and that seems to be okay for us right now. So AMD's a nice little positive win here, up $1.50. We talked about that one. I hope you guys were able to get that with me if you not bought options or something when that was happening down to the downside. So that's going to be a good trade for us. Corsair, not so good, but limited the damage, man. Like we went short, we got out there, then we got out there. So it's like up and down, but still negative stock, so we'll be responsible for that one. Facebook, we defended the 350, that broke, so that's a little bit of a hit there as well. Robinhood is, again, just a monster trade for me today. It should be bigger, but hey, we'll always celebrate that. NEO was a name we were just looking at, long and out, then out right there, so that's a win for us as well. UAA is gonna be a big win for us today, so that's gonna be a good one. And then Wilhelmina, I will not be positive on this one, but if it does drop back down, we'll take some of that profit and get it back. So all is good over here. Just wish we would have hit that hood a little bit harder. What's up, Brendo?
Chinese name, guys, just falling on its face right now. EJH. It's been halted multiple times. It's already gone from 23 to 9. Just halted again through 8 there. So this is eHome Household Services Holdings. So halted right now downside for EJH. Stick around, guys. Coming up in about 15 minutes. We have another great guest coming through, Control Technologies. They've been on the show before. Acquisition news out this morning. We're going to talk to them about the company they acquired and some of the details regarding that deal. So smart buildings sector, Control Technologies, KNR in Toronto here, guys, coming up in about 15 minutes. Let's right now get a check on how things over in Europe are shaping up. About an hour left over in Europe. Miss V, what's up?
Hey guys, European markets gave up early gains and now mixed. Oil major BP trading in London is up more than 4% after it beat second quarter expectations, growing its dividend by 4% and buying $1.4 billion of share buybacks in the third quarter. Back to you.
Yeah, pretty sharp reversal, guys, over in Europe along with North American markets today.
And I'll show you what happened on Robinhood. So it broke that 42, failed break. You get a snapback at a key level like that, and it's like, get out. I'm like, got to get right back into the short on a failed break like that. And then this is the price we're getting. 41.48 was the best I could do to snap back into it, immediately scalps them out in front of 41. And then where am I? You guys know I'm already, for sure, 40.50, of course, like I said before. So bidding in front of that 40.50. Robinhood has just been absolutely wild, but there was a failed jailbreak at that 42 price. Of course, I'm going to jam back into it. I said space kind of sucked. And then it was sitting at those lows while the market was bouncing back. And I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty weak. And then they got the market getting back towards, and I'm talking about the NASDAQ, by the way, back towards morning lows at 149.30. And as it's basing out there and finding a little bit of resistance, I'm like, oh, right at VWAP on Virgin Galactic. So I'll add to it here. Try to add one more time at 30.50. I don't want this thing getting past 30.65. I don't want it to get out of hand. If Robinhood breaks 41, like I said, 40.50 is that level. I kind of feel, though, if it takes 42 again, I don't think it'll be a fail break. If it's going to turn around off 42, this time it's probably going to be shy of that or the high of the day, which is now 42.25. So I wouldn't be as aggressive if it comes back through that 42 level. I think you just got to give up the ghost on this. The fact that I couldn't get anything from 42 all the way to 41.50 tells you exactly where the liquidity can be at this stock, and that plays in both directions, right? Like the bid may have fallen off there, but the offer evaporated as well when it broke 40. So you got to be careful. Have stops at levels that will have some liquidity. I think 42 will. In the middle, you know there isn't.
thought I just got out of some UAA there, but I guess I did not, as it's starting to come down to the downside a little bit. Well, we did. I mean, we got out some 21s there, and it would do this every time, man. I mean, this is where we started to build it. So a good couple outs there on this name. We'll continue to watch it, but that's UAA now bouncing back upside. So good trade here for UAA. Absolutely nothing wrong with that one. And then, yeah, I mean, I see some people there. And that's what I said, guys. Watch out. Like, you know, you're going to get roasted a little bit on these shorts, but you have to be patient with it on Robinhood. So Neil just covered that, so I'm not going to go on it. But, yeah, Wilhelmina there rips back. Oops, that's still Robinhood.
Yeah, here it goes.
Rips back to 8. So our out's going to be 8. So, you know, again, we didn't average into this anymore. We took one small spot there. We identified that this should have been the out rate there. And then remember what I said, like, you know, when something should hit and then doesn't continue to go down, like if that's not a sign, and, you know, Brendan was talking about this as well, like when this 6 held right there, like when it didn't break, like short, and then it doesn't break, like where I was getting out there, that should have been actually a long there, right? Because again, it doesn't break, and then now you're just seeing, right? If it doesn't go down, then it can really only go one spot, and that's going to go to the upside. So here goes Wilhelm, and there it is. There it's gone. So we're out of that position. We'll fall in a hole, and we'll get slayed by multiple dragons there on Wilhelmina today. By far my worst, actually. I'm only down on this in Facebook. So by far my worst there. We try to get cute with it, and there it goes, breaking to the upside. What's up, Brenda?
A big pop on Cassava Sciences here, guys. Just went from 82 to 92 there on significant volume. Heads up for Saba.
Oh, that's right. I had actually canceled my offer on Cassava Sciences. Remember, I was looking for like 95 area to the upside, thinking, okay, well, it's not doing anything. Forget about it. If Wilhelmina's about to halt at 840, by the way, guys. So if it does not halt, okay, never mind. It just halted at 840. I was about to chew out. If it resisted the halt, I would have shorted the break down, but it just halted at 840. If Cassava Sciences gets close to that 95 level, kind of already set our plan earlier on. This is why you want to tune in, guys. We go over some of these levels here to make if you waited for that Robinhood the first time, like the best short was off the 40, and then the best long was off the first break. I mean, the second break, pretty good if you could have got it, that 40.25. Cassava Sciences, it'll be 95. I wanted something tight to that. Hopefully, I would have been looking at like a 93.70 or like a 94.50, somewhere in that 75 penny range. I wanted to be able to hold half of it, see if it can't be a playoff of 100, and the other half a tight stop at 95. We're getting close, but it's still $5 away, despite that big volume spike to the upside. I will show you the higher time frame. This is a 15-minute chart. Yes, the stock was at 150, triple topped in the pre-market, and then 2 days later was at $65. So to say that $10 isn't a huge move on the stock, lately it isn't a huge move on the stock, and I just want to make sure you guys saw that. That's why sometimes you got to give things like $5 ranges to plays, and I think Cassava Sciences is in that territory until it really calms down. Maybe this is the start of that. I want to see it to believe it.
Man, we'd have a lot of money today if it wasn't for that Wilhelmina stock, but we'll continue it. It looks like, so AMD right now, it's trying to crack a little bit lower. We did wait for that 10, I called it a hero long, but it didn't come through. So that 10 doesn't look like it wants to crack right now. So we're going to have to wait on that one right now. That is AMD, and just trying to find some levels. We can look at this is a 3-minute chart. Okay, so 109 and change right here. What is this level? 108.65. You know, I kind of want to reward ourselves because the NASDAQ's just been going down. Okay, a 109 break, let's get out of this, man. We'll take $1 on AMD. A 109 break, we'll get out of AMD, okay? Because we got to reward ourselves a little bit here. We're already in the money $1.50 on it, and we didn't take the ultimate profit of $2. So we'll wait for it, but 109 break, we're going to get out of this one. UAA just continues its march, but again, we've gotten out of that one a little bit as well. And then there's Robinhood on the fail, right back to the downside. So there's that nice little 42 hold right to the downside. Now you're going to watch and see a little bit of a retracement. Now at least you can play off 42, so that's nice. Amazon back down to 3,300 there. NVIDIA, NVIDIA near 2 bills right now as well, as that's making new highs. It looks like, I think, today, 202, hasn't been there in a bit, so that's a nice move. This is not falling as much as the NASDAQ, so I actually may pick up some AMD here, some NVIDIA, even though we're already in AMD, but I like NVIDIA maybe a little bit more. The chart doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, and I'll go with this one. Remember we said If it pulls back on Robinhood, 40.50, why 40.50? When it broke that 40 level to the upside, and more importantly, 40.25, which was at the time the all-time high, immediately, this is why you see my stops get triggered here. You couldn't get real liquidity till 40.50. So if I'm playing a 42 turn, which I did several times here, you can see made money, then lost money, and then jammed right back in when it was a failed break at 42. But it was always 40.50 where I was going to get it out. Just took some shares out of, took the last of it out of 40.61. So it's fast-paced action, but you know, as these levels are going, it's like, okay, well, now here's the next little bit of a target. As it's pulling back, this is where it has to hold. This is where I anticipate buyers will come back in for this reason. So that the next time it happens, when you see a break like that, where did the liquidity vacuum go to? If you got to guess at where the price will stabilize, then you go to where the last level of price discovery was when it evaporated. And of course, it evaporated up, and that was at 40.50. That's why I think 40.50 held, because everyone is looking at the same things. So you got to be able to play off of that tape. You got to be able to learn from, especially when you're looking at an IPO and there's no real price history, you got to look to where the actual tape and volume tells you, and especially that liquidity on a breach like that at a key level, 40 even, obviously. I don't think it's done. I think it probably makes another run at 42. I'll probably short off of that high. Just remember, you saw what happened to those stops at 40 and 40.25. Not saying it's going to happen here at 42, but you got to be wary of that happening here. Obviously, the buyers coming into the stock en masse today, guys.
Okay, yeah, so we're getting ready. We do have an interview coming up. That's going to be a good one. Twitter down to $68 right now. Just got an email again. More fake Twitter accounts. So just try to keep following the real here, which would be, I'll put the profile here for you guys at Trader TV Sean. Just double check the spellings and everything on these accounts, okay, guys? Because they're sending out messages trying to get you guys to deposit funds and stuff like that, and just don't do that. So that's that. And then here on Instagram, it's the same thing. So here's my Instagram account. They're just stealing the picture and stealing all this, right? So you got to be very, very careful. I'll put that in there. Follow now, maybe if you want, so that way you know you're following the right one. But again, please, we're not sending out any requests for funds or anything like that. I mean, I think it's very flattering when they start to do this, but at the same time, I don't want to get anybody burned by that. So be very, very careful. Let's check out Square quickly here. Again, we're back on the 3-minute chart, 263, nice bottom. We talked about this yesterday, right? Why this may be a bottom, and here it is right here. So you got to watch out, 264, 263 coming into play. Should have longed it, but that was a great opportunity right there to get involved. So we missed that opportunity, but hey, it could come back again. That's 263.80 or so. So we're going to watch out for that and see if that can come into play one more time. But that's a 263 bid. We called that. We looked at it. Okay, AMD, I see you now. I see you. Yes, sir, spin it, because here we go. Big time win for AMD, right back to the upside. I'm actually, I'm going to self-nominate this one as the trade of the day, I think. We picked that level, man. We called that 107.50. It comes right down in the NASDAQ trouble, and then now we get right back to the upside. So I'm going to exit this at 110, but there it is, man. What a good hold. We held it through that 109. We talked about that. Now it's coming to the upside. Big win alert here for me on AMD. Super happy with this trade. Let's get out now at 110. What up, B?
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the overall market real quick here. Chop City, so far, it is dead flat. The market absolutely flat right now. You can see a lot of individual movers kind of offsetting others. I want to start here. Communication services, Take Two, leading the way to the downside, 8.8% for TTWO. Right beside that, Viacom, Discovery reported as well. There's the ATVI. They're all here. EA down 3% as well. Fox, even Fox A. So communication services, the group itself, among the leaders to the downside. Over in this corner as well, the travel names under pressure once again. We had earnings from Marriott. There was actually a positive move initially, but down 3% now. MGM, DRIs here, Penn National, LVS, RCL. Take your pick, they're all here. On the other hand, UAA, 3.6% to the upside. Ralph Lauren right beside it, up 7% today. Nice day for RL. TSCO leading the way so far for retailers as well, having a strong day. Lots of big moves in the technology sector today, but they're all kind of offsetting each other once again. So IPGP down 13.6%. Right beside that, that ENPH up 7%, kind of helping to offset. IT, FIS basically canceling each other out there. So again, during earnings season, you get outside the range moves, offsetting The same on the other side. So the market dead flat, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Now, Wilhelmina opens back up. Remember, it was an 840 halt, spikes to 9, reverses. It then goes right below that halt price at 840. It's now been testing it at least a couple of times here. I'm short at 20. Well, I mean, short at 20 even. You can round it up a little. It's like 20 and a quarter when it got those two average entries in. Risking about that 20 pennies plus slippage, and then we'll see if we can't take some out, obviously in front of 8 if I'm shorting 820. And then you get that sort of breakout. Now, if you look at that previous high, this is 770. It made a wick down here before, so we'll get some out in front of that. And then the rest, you can probably imagine between 7 and 725 here, guys. So I look at VWAP as always the same kind of retracement play. The idea being, like, at some point, you just sort of look at these and you're able to have an idea of what you want to do before it happens. I'm not even thinking about shorting the top. I'm only looking at it below that price, that 740, because then that gives me an out. And I don't want to make the trade unless I have an out. You can see the stock going parabolic to the upside. That's why we're going to take some profit down here. Now I can adjust my stop order for only a remaining. I want to get the rest out between 7 and 725. I think that's about a good price where it might bounce. And then just run it. Just run the rest in. The only one that's going to stink is, of course, I had the short Virgin Galactic. I got 23s here, and it looks like if it breaks 30.60, I'm just going to be out, and we'll not flush ourselves down. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet for that. We can also flush Wilhelmina down the toilet. Profitable short here. We just had to wait to pick our spot because this one is going wild. When it makes that halt trade, we kind of tried the same thing here, but missed out, got snapped in above that halt price, which stinks because then you are just going to the evens or the quarters. I don't like that setup as much. Should have been only taking it off of the parabolic halt, and then when you get it failing below that price, that's what we got here.
And I wanted to give a big shout out. Thank you for a new member alert. He's been giving some super chats talking about Victoria's Secret. We'll look at L Brands. What's up, Dominic? We'll look at FLGC as well. And I think it's important to note, like, Neil and I both still negative on that Wilhelmina. So you just got to be careful with these runners, man. It's very, very tough sometimes. Sometimes they're great to trade, and sometimes they're tough. So you got to be very, very careful with that. And the reason why I say that is because we're right here with FLGC again, another big runner today. And you just got to be careful with it, right? Like, understand the kind of positions that we're taking and the levels that we're on, but we still are negative on that Wilhelmina. So we got to be very, very careful with some of these trades. FLGC, Flora Growth, just another name up to $10 on a daily. See, this is one here that, I mean, on a daily, again, you know, welcome. Its birthday wasn't too long ago, but you could see here up to $10.50. IPO back in May, $5-6 right here. And what a great bottom, man. Some of these left for dead down here. $3. I don't know what the news is here, Dominic, but thank you for the super chats and thank you for bringing it to our attention. Up 25%. Brendan probably gave us this news, not just today, but other days, as it's been just going nuts here. Probably a low float, but again, with a recent IPO, there shouldn't be, I mean, they should have released shares, so we'll see right now, but wow, what a good move to the downside there. $3, and now you're up to 10. So I don't know, Dominic, if you're looking to trade this as a day trade or not, but to me, when you've tripled your money in about a week, that's probably a decent spot to think about emptying out some of the shares. So thank you again for the $5 super chat. I'll pass that along. Well, I don't get it, but we'll give it to Valeria there, and we'll buy some Starbucks coffees. And thank you for the super chats yesterday for the Starbucks as well, as I think Valeria went after the show and got a Starbucks there. Yeah, so that's a good move there. FLGC Flora making moves. And then the only thing I have left is Under Armour, man. We emptied this out right there, and now there's not much going on right now with Under Armour. Any updates quickly, Neil, before we go over to the guests? Anything?
Robinhood's about to take the high of the day again. I mean, I'm short here. I just got 41.96. It's about to take at that 41.25. And this time, see, I mean, I use a different stop order, and it looks like it's holding at that high. But that was going to be one more shot. Waited for it to get back to that 42. And if it's a failed break, I might jam short again here. Only if it's a failed break. Got to get back below that 42. It is that time. It is time for our guest of the day. Crazy morning. Things starting to settle down just a little bit here, though. Brendan.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, we had news this morning on Control Technologies here in Toronto. Trades on the NEO Exchange, KNR. There you go. Yeah, they completed the acquisition of Global HVAC Automation Incorporated. Paul Ghezzi, CEO of Control Technologies, joining us once again on the show. It's great to have you back, Paul. Congratulations, first of all. This is obviously pretty exciting for the company. There was also another headline in that announcement, and that's the record revenue order book of $155 million. So big day for the company. Tell us a little bit about this deal and what it means for Control.
Sure. So thanks for having me back. So this is a really big win for Control. It does a couple things. It establishes a firm order book that's now a record order book at 155 million over the next 3 years. It allows us to increase our outlook for this year and gives us a really solid outlook next year, where next year we'll be trading at about more than double this year, and this year is more than triple last year in terms of revenue. So really nice growth path for the company. Really solid acquisition, and the way we think about it, we're just getting started, and we're in a great industry that's consolidating, and we're part of that move.
It's definitely an industry that I think we're going to hear a lot more about, as we mentioned the last time you were on. We talked a little bit about things reopening and people getting back to something that resembles the normalcy of everyday life. Control operates in 3 different segments: software, projects, and services. Where does this acquisition fall within that, and tell us, why this was such an attractive target?
Sure. So if we start with who is our customer is any building that's about 40,000 square feet or larger. Typically, buildings of those size, 70% of their energy consumption comes through the HVAC system, which is heating, cooling, ventilation. And if you can influence that part of the building, you can drive deep energy savings, you can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and part of that, you can create safer spaces with better air quality. So in that context, we've bought a project company with very large project revenues. We're taking our service platform and our software work platform, which are recurring revenue based, and adding it to these project revenues. So over time, what we're going to be able to do is move those project revenues to a much more recurring or higher recurring platform, which of course has higher gross margins. And in our industry, if you can get to 50-50, typically, companies at that kind of 50-50 revenue split between recurring and project tend to attract the highest multiples. And that's how we create value for long-term shareholders, is building up that recurring revenue over time.
So as we see, we're moving into the second half of the year, obviously, and into Q3 now, as we see the end of summer approaching and obviously the fall months approaching. Where is the biggest demand coming right now? You mentioned, who the end user really is there. Where are we seeing the biggest demand, though, for these products at this point?
So I would say, commercial's taken a big hit. And why is that? We've been not going back to the office. So as the vaccines roll out and commercial spaces open up again, there's this great concern over air quality. Is this a safe space that I'm in? And how do I operate an effective and efficient building, perhaps with a higher vacancy rate? So in terms of our customers, what they're really looking for is lower energy spend. Everyone's interested in reducing their greenhouse gas emissions. Most corporations have a 2050 mandate for net zero. And then it's about creating safer spaces. So the sweet spot for Control is those buildings with that size footprint that really all have the same challenges across the board. They may be different facilities, but the challenges are the same. So the demand is really coming from all facets of those 3 key verticals in our business.
So as we see, as we mentioned, people getting back to the office and getting back to a normal way of life, the obvious question here, Paul, becomes, you said you're just getting started. What can investors then anticipate from KNR, Control Technologies, to come still?
Yeah, so if you think about where we started this 5 years ago with $1 million of revenue, our outlook for this year is ending the year at approximately 37 million. Looking forward to next year, looking at about 70 million. You can start to put the pieces together that this is a great growth story. We're in the right sector at the right time, and we're executing. Combination of organic growth, value acquisitions that we can drive recurring revenue into, and we're excited about the future.
KNR, guys, on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. There's also, you can see on the bottom there, KNRLF, which trades on the OTC markets in the U.S. Paul Ghezzi, CEO of Control Technologies. Always a pleasure. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. If you want that symbol again, KNR on the NEO exchange here in Toronto, guys.
Thank you once again, Brennan. Not about 10 minutes to go before we're going to be getting out of here, but I can tell you, there goes Robinhood. 44, check that, 44.40 it just got to. So, yeah, this is what we talked about, having a more aggressive stop order. That was a much better one for us to fill here using my Edge A1. Thank goodness, guys. So we waited for it to go to that top, and this is what you got to do sometimes. You take that last hit, and then I step away from the stop because I have no levels up here. If it had halted, I mean, Look, on a 42 break, it probably got to pop to 46. So I don't think it's going to halt. There's way too much liquidity on this name for it to do so. But if it does halt, I'll definitely be playing any kind of a halt play on Robinhood. It's too juicy to ignore. While that happened, 93.70 to 94.50. That's what I said here on Cassava Sciences. It got to 93.73 at a target entry area, so it didn't quite get in there for me to be able to get short. It kind of just touched the first part of that zone and then just wicked right back down. So there probably wasn't an opportunity to get it, but it's kind of a miss for me there. That was the price I was waiting for in Cassava Sciences. The turnarounds happen. It would probably have to travel a lot deeper into 95 before I would take that short one more time in here through, guys. So a bit of a miss there for me in Cassava Sciences. It is falling back down to earth. I don't like the buys on it. I kind of want it to settle down and then look for another short opportunity on Sala.
And guys, it's too bad that I can't scroll back on the chat. I think it was when Robinhood was like right around here, 41.50, you know, around here. I was like, please guys, do not short Robinhood today, guys. It's off to the races. As soon as it broke that 38 here, it was just go all the way. I mean, I thought really, the only short probably was right around here, 40, because we've seen that high, but then we've never visited up here. So that's a very, very dangerous spot. So just FYI for anybody, whenever you're seeing these new spots, it's dangerous, right? And so watch out, Hood up there, that 16%. If it's never been here before, it could still go, man. This thing could go to 50. We have no idea where it's going to go now. That's why I'm definitely staying away from the short. And then maybe if you get along back to 41, but just try to stay away from that if you can the rest of the day. But again, we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. But very, very cautious trading there for me on that one. It's nice to see Alibaba come back. Oh, yeah. And then we did this. We spun the money one more time because there goes UAA, my number one stock today is going to be, no, actually my number one stock is Robinhood. So, and AMD, Robinhood and AMD, both big names for me today. But UAA, a big move, man. We talked about that. Good thing we reloaded back down there. Bigger position here at 2160. So a nice little win for us to the upside. Where's AMD right now? 110. But again, I think today really the sticky note reigns supreme today because we have the Hood 38 break. We have the 107.50 here on this. We talked about Corsair, didn't do too much. And then Facebook long hasn't really worked. So I guess, yeah, Facebook didn't work on this one. So if you did have that, you have to watch out. And Facebook is one of the two losers today. We have Corsair. And this is a loser for sure. But again, back and forth, not too much trading here. Once we noticed this back and forth, we kind of stayed away from it. So we didn't have too much to worry about there with Corsair. But Neo was a good one for sure. Off this 44.50, yesterday's bottoms. We talked about getting some longs there. That's exactly what we did. And then we took it to the upside. Most of these ones, like this, like look at this price, 44.70, right? So there's an out at 90, that's 20 cents. There's an out at 95, that's 25 cents. There's a 10, that's 55 cents. And then there's another one, so 60 cents. So all of these, 4 winners, and then the one loser goes 70, out 45. So 25 cents there, 35 cents on the loser, just wiping out one of these trades. So nice capture of some profit there. So it's been a pretty good day. Obviously not as good as we wanted it to be because Wilhelmina really hit us hard. So that was the one stock that we lost on, decent in size today. So that's the one loser there. But thank God we didn't get even more of a mess into this, as it's a negative stock for both of us here today. And that just couldn't stop going. That's Wilhelmina. Maybe now it's finally retracing. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, I always tell you guys how we go counter trend here. I'm going to get to take two in a quick second, but you always have to have outs. You can see tight stops in every one. Even when it looked like it had the perfect setup for the rollover, it still took out that halt price. Now, this is why you don't give it to the high of the day on moves like that. Every single one of these stops is going to be relatively tight, and then you take the profit where you can. That's how you're going to be able to limit your losses on this. I do want to go back to take, because I know we started with the gaming sector and then maybe got away from it. Yeah, that 10% got hit, so the market was looking relatively weak, and when we're on those lows, take two was basically basing out. We're pushing lower on the NASDAQ and pushing lower on the ES. So I covered here in front of 157 on my short. It bounced up to VWAP and then rolled over. Goes all the way to that 156 target. So 10% down was hit. But the reason, as far as I'm concerned, the reason for covering here made a lot of sense to me. The market was trying to rebound at that moment. You know, I thought the buying would come into it. It did. So the out was good. It just didn't really find my way back into the short. That's when everything else was popping off. When you're playing those halt plays, like if I'm simultaneously looking at that, like both that HJLI, which is moving, You had, of course, Robinhood, which is going crazy. Then you had the Halt Festa that was Wilhelmina. I'm probably not going to be too concerned about getting back into a take-two trade, which would have been good, but certainly there were bigger risk types of ideas in terms of volatility that we're going over into. We're still in the midst of earnings season, obviously. So there's a pretty heavy board. You guys know, of course, Lyft comes today and then Uber tomorrow, but there's a heck of a lot more than just that that'll be reporting after the bell today and before the market opens tomorrow in tomorrow's action. No, we're not ready for it. Never mind.
Nope,
Sorry.
I don't know. I guess we're not ready for it yet. Okay, Uber all the way to the downside right here. And again, guys, you know, the profitable trades today, AMD, the two biggest ones by NetWise, AMD here and Hood here today. And then we're trying to add, well, we could add it right now and just get out of UAA. But right now, you know, 3 big wins for me, UAA and whatnot. It looks like we're ready, right, Brandon?
Yeah, sorry guys, I was busy doing other things. Yes, as Neil said, lots of earnings. There's good ones on here as well. I was just actually double checking on Royal Caribbean because that is one that is on the list as for tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they typically report pre-market. Yeah, it is, before market open for RCL. But here we go. What's to come after market and before the open tomorrow?
It's a little busy. But in the middle, GM, come on, baby, let's do it. No whammy, whatever. And then, of course, we talked about Lyft. You're going to see Marathon and Oxy in the energy space. I mean, give me a break. You're going to have Skills, which I think is going to be a little bit of a mover. Oh, watch out if they don't have good numbers. I mean, Match? It's all... What? That just happened. We just gave away the National Day, so I guess you kind of know what National Day it is already, but earnings, you just saw it was a pretty heavy board there. Just stick to the middle. It's a Coursera there as well, you know, Nicola reported this morning it was a big mover. Of course, you know when we come back at 3:15, there's going to be a lot of hot fire. You see the market moving to the downside. We're red for now. Miss V's got the green dress on, so we'll try to get back to positive territory. Robinhood's going to be in play. Square's still in play. Cassava Sciences is moving around a bit here. So do not go too far because we're going to be right back for some absolute bangers. Before we get out of here, you kind of just saw it. Let's see what National Day it is, Miss V.
And I know, Neil, you like it a lot. Well, guys, thank you very much for spending... No? All right. You like pineapples more. Hey, guys, thank you very much for spending this morning with us. I hope you're in positive territory and enjoying your day. Come back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And please don't forget to smash the like button. Happy National Watermelon Day, everyone.
Okay, so like I'm not, look, I like watermelon, but of all of the melons, it's like cantaloupe is better, like green melon is, I prefer to watermelon. I'll eat fresh watermelon, no problem with it, but I mean, fresh cantaloupe is like 10 out of 10 and a watermelon's like a 7 for me. So I'm not really trying to hate or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's not the best. But hey, if it was actually not cold, well, it's not cold. This morning was like 15 degrees here. That's Celsius for us. That's kind of chilly. It's getting up to 27 though, so it is warming up. That's when you want to have a nice, juicy slice of watermelon if you can there, Sean.
Yeah. I would go watermelon ahead of cantaloupe for me, but hey, I mean, I'm Italian, so you have some prosciutto on the side there. You can definitely make some watermelon or some cantaloupe a little juicier there. But I'm going to go with watermelon over cantaloupe, a little more messy watermelon. So I think that would maybe be one of the determining factors there if I was going to switch it over. Brendan's, I think, a melon guy. Where would you go?
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. Watermelon over cantaloupe.
Booyah!
It's worth mentioning as well. Watermelon has been like
Never agrees.
excellent
Grilled watermelon.
this year for some reason.
That's true.
Like
that's
better than normal this year for some reason.
All right.
I don't know what that is either, but you're 100% right about that, Brendan. For whatever reason, we've been getting the good stuff here in Ontario. And Ontario, Canada. 44.74 is the current high that I just see on Robinhood. So,
Wow.
Like I said, it's probably not going to halt because, I mean, you need 10% moves in that little volatility band, right? So there's enough liquidity that it's unlikely that it does. But if that stock starts halting, oh my goodness, are there going to be some unbelievable opportunities for us? It absolutely could happen. I just think it's relatively unlikely. As always, a fantastic interview. We got way away from Square, but it's basing out holding 265. It did flush all the way down to 260, 250, but it's actually holding and consolidating a little bit higher. I just kind of watch back. If it retakes that 270 area, and the market needs to get out of its own way for any of this to happen, let's see what happens to that price. It was a big price yesterday, 270, and that's what I showed on the breakdown here. Obviously didn't hold on to it, but watch out for Square and Affirm in the afternoon.
We got to ask. So far it's 2-1 watermelon, but I got to ask Valeria because I don't think we got her opinion there. So Miss V, let's go. Is it going to be watermelon or cantaloupe or perhaps another melon?
Watermelon.
Boom, 3-1, okay. Well, I think we should do that every day. Why don't we just do that every day? We'll see where we're going to go. So today, 3-1, Watermelon wins. Let us know what you guys think here in the chat.
Vegemite.
As we're going. Yeah, not Vegemite. I'm not going to vote.
trying to get in that
I'm not
stuff.
going to vote for Vegemite there. But thank you to Maggie if she's not around. But thank you for hooking up the Tim Hortons coffees today as well as we go. So what up to QSR brands if you guys want to roll that. We'll probably be doing, I said, remember when I said like around 40 stop shorting hood? I think this could be the trade of the day, and I have reasons why this was going to be a good one there. No idea what happened. Were you just drinking Vegemite? I hope you were not doing that there, Valeria. But for all of us, Neil, why don't I wrap up the evening show?
I
You do the morning
had
show?
like a sour face when she's like drinking Vegemite.
No, don't
Look,
do that,
man,
Valeria.
It's,
Please
it's,
do not
it's
do
not
that.
that bad, but it's bad enough that you're not drinking it. But for the entire team, we're having a blast here. Thank you very much for all the super chats. We enjoy. We'll be right back at 3:15. I think it's going to be amazing. Obviously, it will be. For Ms. V in the green, for Brendan, who never likes what I like, and for myself, Neil Roberts, and Sean Gatina, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live, and we'll see you at the close. Bye, guys.